All right, ladies and gentlemen. I meant ladies and gentlemen. And there's only two. It's binary. Oh my God. Okay, welcome back. We are live once again. Today we are talking about the hot button topic buzzing around the internet today, and that is Elon Musk, the first trillionaire. Elon Musk, the first trillionaire. How big is a trillion? We're going to talk about a lot of these things today. Need to turn up my side a little more. Bandakila Muntaka, which means welcome. I have to invite the Discord server. Right, radio. There we go. We'll share that. At everyone. Elon Musk, the first trillionaire. Let's debate. Live now. Boom. I shared that with them. And then I share this. I feel like this is going to be kind of a hot topic today, but we'll see. And no, today, not hot topic like the clothing store. I just got to pull this to there so we're all caught up. Oh, I also have to do this. Join the live discussion here. Perfecto. Okay, we're all set up. Oh, I forgot to do my stupid X post. I'm not going to post on X. That's just going to put more trillions of dollars in Elon Musk's pants. Nah, I doubt it will. I like X. It's fun. You really got to take that platform lightheartedly, or else you're making a mistake. X. Also, Grok is actually a really good AI tool. Elon Musk. Hashtag, should I try to hashtag Elon Musk? Elon Musk. Elon Busk at Elon. Maybe Elon Musk will stop by to our live stream here at Pangburn. Of course he will. There we go. Oh, and I just remembered I have to share with our beautiful... It takes me like a half hour to share with everyone I need to share with. I know that there's programs where I can set it up so I only have to share once across everything. I should do that. I will do that. It's only rational to do that. If you haven't joined our Discord server yet, please do. We've been doing this for like 10 billion years on Discord. Right when I open the stream, I see you're typing the Discord message and get the notification. Well, I've just double dipped on you, so... Suck it. Image. We'll give them this. Or should we do this one? Higher resolution, bro. Elon Musk, first trillionaire. Makes me want to do things, brah. As always, I'm going to start with my reading before we get some more people in here to tangle on this topic. Well, you said, Snowdrop, you haven't used Twitter/X for a long time. Have you ever used X? Or were you just a Twitter user? Did you run from the platform when the evil trillionaire took over? Okay. I just need to get my reading ready here. Get this message out of the way first. And da-dee-da, da-dee-dee. So ultimately, at the end of the day, I'm very much interested of Elon Musk becoming the first trillionaire and what this means from the perspective of well-being. So I shall start with a bit of reading here. Okay, I'm finally shared and everyone's la-di-da, la-di-da. Okay. I lost my screen. There we go. Okay, from a perspective of my deontological moral quest, I think the good life consists of maximizing well-being, physical, mental, and social health for yourself and those around you. That moral quest is simply, if we want to go to the most fundamental level, born of my sentiments, which create this presupposition I accept that health is preferential to life. And I feel that even if people try to deny that presupposition, I feel the need to want to help them even more if they don't feel as though, like if they want to pursue sickness, for example, instead of health. Health is preferential to sickness is the fundamental presupposition that my moral quest is born out of. So if we agree that health is preferential to sickness, we have to figure out what health means. We use medical science and biological sciences to best determine what health means to the human object and the human subject, the object being the body itself, the subject being the mind, where the experience is locked. So yeah, I'm curious when I go through the analysis today of this trillionaire, $1 trillion wealth that Elon Musk has created. How much of this has been spent on things that are, and invested into things that are pro well-being when it comes to measurable physical, mental, and social health outcomes? So, the Pangburn well-being lens. So well-being consists of physical, mental, and social health. The question is therefore, the question is not, is trillionaire status morally acceptable, but rather, does this unprecedented concentration of wealth maximize well-being across these domains? So the pros, accelerated scientific progress. Few individuals have developed capital toward ambitious scientific projects at Musk's scale. The potential benefits here include cheaper access to space, which I really like. That, to me, that knowing that and knowing that we are making great efforts with regards to making access to space cheaper and maybe even eventually commercially cheaper, where people might get to experience this at some point in their life. I think that is an incredibly inspiring, from a scientific inspiration perspective, an incredibly inspiring thing. So cheaper access to space, love it. Planetary defense technologies, very interesting. If we have another catastrophic rock heading towards us, like what happened 65 million years ago, the make or break difference of that might be the fact that we have planetary defense technologies spread out across our solar system. We're probably a long way from that. Maybe not as long as some people might think. I think in my lifetime we'll see some kind of planetary defense system. Welcome, everybody.
Something like a
I'm just starting with the reading for today, just going through the pros and cons of Elon Musk, the trillionaire, and we're going to get, we're going to get to everything really related to that. Yeah, and this is a good question by Slipslop. It's good to ask why he is a trillionaire now. Tesla has already heavily overvalued, and the same goes for SpaceX now. He constantly overpromises and underdelivers. I can't wait for the FSD or the Mars mission that has been promised. Interesting. So yeah, we can get into all that today. Satellite internet expanding access to education and communication. By the way, I plan on hitting up Elon Musk and Starlink to assist us with internet access in Uganda, where we're going to be building our first school. So hopefully they can help us out with that. Advances in electric transportation. I think Elon Musk in many ways set the bar for the commercial electric vehicle. And Tesla has made a big statement that like, this is here now. And then of course the other car companies, they're like, okay, he took the massive risk here and the market seems to be ready. So now we're going to pile it on and build some really cool stuff too. There's a Ford truck, I think it's called the Thunder. Really cool truck, fully electric. I know some people who own those trucks, and yeah, they're pretty cool. Brain-computer interface research. So I'm seeing some amazing things with brain chip technology that are assisting people to see better again, and I think in some cases actually see again. And we can get into that, but for people who really need brain chips to help them function in their life, like from a well-being perspective. Oh, I love this. Mr. Beast did a video recently relating to this, and I believe he was working with Elon Musk's Neuralink chip for this video. I'll check all that. I'm just picking off the top of my head. AI development. I think Elon Musk and what they've done with Grok is very impressive. Grok was ahead of the image generation technology, I would say. It was kind of like trailblazing. I was using all of these tools, and more often than not, I would find myself going to Grok to get a more accurate depiction of the kinds of images I was trying to generate, the kinds of posters, all kinds of different things. Sometimes using the technology for thumbnail generation. So if these innovations, maximize well-being, then these things would be, genuine moral goods. So the question would be, for some of these things, we are generating tools out of these. Of course, Grok is simply a tool. Grok can be used to diminish or act detrimentally towards someone's well-being. So when it comes to the tools that are being developed by Elon Musk and his businesses and his fortune, that is not something I would put on Elon Musk's shoulders or on other people's shoulders. Like if anti-vaxxers are using Grok to pull, cherry pick little citations out of different studies to create their conspiracy theory. I don't hold Grok accountable to that. Just like I don't hold the internet responsible for like the stupidest of websites, right? Or like the most dangerous websites. A society with reusable rockets, cleaner energy, and expanded access to information may physically and socially flourish more than one without them. This is a well-being bonus. Something I want to point out today before we open up the mics, before we bring everyone in. I challenge you all to not just let your political pundits do your talking and thinking for you. I challenge you all not to parrot things you've heard elsewhere. I challenge you all to formulate and articulate your own opinions born of your own ethical standards and epistemic standards that you will be able to defend if they are questioned. And try to bring the the evidence, the epistemic argument along with any kind of knowledge claims you're making today. I want us to keep trying pushing for higher order, higher resolution epistemic standards and more articulability within our current ethical standards. And of course, forming ethical standards, articulable ethical standards if we haven't done that yet. And one other thing today, please don't just engage with your negative utility, suffering avoidance outlook at this. I'm going to be harping on people to give their positive utility take as well. What positives do you see coming from Elon Musk, the now first trillionaire human on the planet? Also some well-founded criticisms. Coordination efficiency. Large institutions often move slowly. A highly driven individual with enormous resources can sometimes take risks governments avoid, pursue long-term projects, act quickly, ignore short-term political cycles. I think this is true about Elon Musk in that like a highly driven individual like him that owns so much stock in his companies is able to pursue and move quicker than some organizations that are more bureaucratic. Now, there are advantages to having bureaucracy in organizations. You want it to some degree. You want to make sure you are making great decisions, and including more great minds is a great way to do that. That can slow down the process. And it's not that Elon Musk doesn't do that, but it does seem like the jumping into action, and we can test this epistemically later. There's seems to be a reason why there is a kind of trailblazing from Elon Musk that we don't see with some other companies. Not that other companies don't innovate things as well, but when you consider the whole package, also including the marketing package, because that means something as well to what the public sees. That means a lot too. Inspiration value. So under the Pangburn virtue of inspiration, let art and science inspire. Millions view Musk's achievements as evidence that civilizations can still build extraordinary things. He has revived public fascination with engineering, space exploration, technological optimism. Hope itself contributes to psychological well-being, of course. So there's a couple positive things I wanted to start with. The cons. Extreme wealth concentration. $1 trillion represents an astonishing amount of social power. The concern is human well-being becomes vulnerable when one person's preferences disproportionately shape civilization. This can affect political influence, labor relations, media ecosystems, technological trajectories. Even benevolent intentions create fragility if too much decision-making becomes centralized. Social well-being generally thrives through distributed power. Opportunity costs. Pangburn Well-Being asks, could these resources produce greater flourishing elsewhere? For example, reducing preventable disease, improving education, alleviating extreme poverty, expanding mental health care, addressing homelessness. $1 trillion fortune invites scrutiny regarding marginal utility. The difference between Musk having 100 billion versus 1 trillion may contribute relatively little to his own well-being while potentially transforming millions of lives if redirected. Something to keep in mind, though, that Musk, through the kind of innovation and success he's had, has created, transformative experiences for the people that work for him, and how all of that trickles down into families and institutions that are positively affected. The democratic tension. Technological progress is valuable, but who decides its direction? A single individual heavily influencing AI, communication platforms, satellite infrastructure, transportation, neuroscience. space colonization, raises legitimate questions. Even competent rulers remain fallible. This is where Pangburn fallibilism intersects with well-being. Certainty is almost certainly unattainable. No one should possess unquestioned confidence proportional to trillion-dollar influence. Status competition. A culture obsessed with billionaire worship can distort values. People may begin optimizing for wealth accumulation, dominance, prestige, instead of relationships, health, community, meaning. Mental well-being suffers when human worth becomes conflated with net worth. So I wouldn't want to see where money starts becoming an end in and of itself. Money ought to be viewed as a means to an end, but having an end that transcends just money in and of itself, like the whole idea of like Scrooge McDuck from the old cartoon, having a vault full of gold coins that he can swim in like it's liquid. Somehow he can swim in it. I think Family Guy actually dealt with this properly, where it shows I think Peter tries to jump into Scrooge McDuck's pool of gold coins, and he just smashes its face. He's like, "This isn't a liquid at all. It's a metal." I thought that was hilarious. Anyways, so the general Pangburn conclusion here would, of course, as always, reject both extreme ends of the hardcore concerns or the hardcore sycophantry that we can sometimes see in some people that, view Elon Musk only through rose-colored glasses. So this idea that trillionaires are automatically immoral because wealth generated through innovation can dramatically improve well-being. It matters what the trillionaire is doing to acquire this, what they're doing with their money. Are they maximizing well-being for themselves and others with their money? And how far are they stretching that bubble? Now, what I'm going to look into as well is an updated list as to how much money and what exactly is being spent on things like issues related to charity. I'm very curious about that. I also reject that trillionaires are automatically heroes. It doesn't mean necessarily that a trillionaire should be idolized as like an ethical saint or an epistemic saint. It's important for us to separate that from the trillionaire. What we know just right off the bat with a trillionaire is because they have $1 trillion in assets and maybe some liquid. Probably not too much liquid. Not as much liquid as people think. But so automatically hero? No. Financially successful? Of course. Concentrated power magnifies the consequences of human fallibility. What that means is that, but we all know Elon Musk is fallible, just like any other human being is fallible. When a fallible human being who's sometimes behaving kind of like a rock star, kind of loose with his words on X, and we can get into that later too. Quite polarizing ethically, with all of that power that comes with $1 trillion, it can be catastrophically devastating if he says or does something, due to his fallible nature that causes some kind of collapse. So what I think here is that wealth is, of course, not a measure of morality. The effects of wealth on conscious experience is. Elon Musk becoming the first trillionaire is therefore best understood as a civilizational stress test. If his resources substantially expand physical, mental, and social flourishing, history may judge the milestone positively. If they deepen inequality, weaken democratic resilience, and concentrated power without corresponding gains in human flourishing, history may judge it negatively. Before I open up the mics, and thanks for everyone for being with me here today, I appreciate it. I just want to read one more thing. I want to look at charity. All right. The Musk Foundation, 2001 to present. Founded by Elon Musk and his brother Kimball Musk in 2001. They named him Kimball? The foundation states that it supports renewable energy research and advocacy, human space exploration research and advocacy, pediatric research, science and engineering education, development of safe artificial intelligence for humanity. By the end of 2024, the foundation reportedly held more than $14 billion in assets. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. There was a donation in 2021 of $55 million, given as part of the Inspiration for Mission led by Jared Isaacman. Purpose, pediatric cancer treatment, fantastic. Childhood disease research, fantastic. Carbon Removal Prize, X Prize Foundation, donation $100 million in 2021. One of the largest climate prizes in history, incentivizing scalable carbon capture technologies. Very cool. I love that. OpenAI, when nonprofit. OpenAI donations approximately $10 million. Known grants include $5 million in 2016, $4.5 million in 2016. Additional support and lease payments. Released exhibits from the Musk-Altman litigation confirmed several of these grants. The purpose of this is AI safety research and open artificial intelligence development. Tesla share donation, 2021. The donation was $5.7 billion. This was one of the largest charitable gifts in U.S. history. The recipient was initially unknown. Subsequent reporting indicated most of it went to the Musk Foundation. Okay, so if it went to the Musk Foundation, then it would be going towards all the things that the Musk Foundation is working on that I already read through. I would be curious to learn a little bit more of what kind of pediatric research. Tesla share donation. Approximately $1.95 billion Tesla stock donated to charitable entities. Public disclosures suggest much of this ultimately benefited the Musk Foundation. Tesla share donation, approximately $108 million. Tesla shares donated to unnamed charities. SEC filings describe this as part of the year-end planning. Okay, so this was $108 million to charities in 2024. Tesla share donation, another one, in 2025, approximately $100 million. Tesla shares donated to unnamed charities near year-end, again, okay. The Foundation Austin Education Project. This is a separate nonprofit created by Musk. The known grants, $10 million in 2022, $100 million in 2023, approximately $470 million in 2024. The purpose is STEM-focused kindergarten to grade 12 education. That's fantastic. That's a fuck ton of money. School operations, planning university development in Texas. Critics note that this organization is closely connected to Musk himself. Well, I would suspect so. It would be interesting to see how this particular foundation in Austin reflects his own, let's say, political opinions that might cross over with education. Like, does this foundation have a, a moratorium on teaching anything related to gender studies or anything like that? Because I know he is quite phobic to that. Incorrectly phobic to that, I should say. Astronova, Ad Astra School. Astronova School donations include approximately $60,000 in 2020. Purpose, experimental education, gifted learning programs. Wikimedia Foundation, known recipient of Musk Foundation grants, support for Wikipedia and free knowledge. Future of Life Institute, recipient of Musk Foundation grants, purpose, existential risk reduction, safe AI development. Environmental organizations like Sierra Club, National Wildlife Federation, purpose, conservation, environmental advocacy, humanitarian organization, known recipient Oxfam, Clinton Foundation, Purpose Poverty Reduction and Global Health Initiatives, Big Green, founded by Musk's brother, Kimball Musk, recipient of Musk Foundation grants. School gardens and nutrition education is their focus. I love that. Estimated publicly known giving is about $9 billion USD. How does that percent? I promise I'm going to let everyone get a word in edgewise here after I go through this. I'm just curious about some of this. How does that percentage compare to Bill Gates giving? I want to check Zuckerberg as well, because he gives a fuck ton of money as well. So, by the numbers, publicly documented giving, Elon Musk, so around $9 billion. Bill Gates, $100 billion. Approximate current net worth is $1 trillion for Elon Musk, and only $130 billion for Bill Gates. So giving as percent of current wealth, Bill Gates has given away 75 to 90% of his wealth. Elon Musk has given away 0.8 to 0.9% of his wealth. So way behind William Gates in that regard. Let's go to now compare Zuckerberg, man. Let's look at Zuckerberg. This guy gives a fuck ton of money as well, but he's behind. I'm surprised. I knew the percentage was going to be higher, but okay. Well, Bill Gates is dominating, 75 to 90% giving of his current net worth. Elon Musk is not even 1%, and then Mark Zuckerberg and Priscilla, his wife, 3%. So Elon Musk is like when it comes to charitable donation, when it comes to giving, he is far behind the curve here. He needs to be giving more. He needs to be doing more. He's got, I think, a lot of these nonprofits and foundations, they're doing the best thing, but like there's got to be a lot more to give here. But I want to finish on something positive before we open up the mics, that someone said it, made a comment. I'll read through your comments on YouTube as well, and hopefully you guys join us on Discord, because I want to hear your voices. I want to see your faces. I want to get your credit card numbers. I want to know exactly where you live, all that stuff. I'm very happy with what Tesla has done, and I'm talking generally now. I know that there are anecdotes of employment issues, things like this. We can talk about those today, but I'm looking at the big picture of the $1 trillion and the man. I love what's going on with SpaceX. I love what's going on with Tesla for the world, for well-being. I love Neuralink. I love Starlink. Again, hoping we can get a donation, Robin, worked on for our school in Uganda. That would be pimp. I love a lot of things that Elon Musk has done to generate this money. He's not giving enough. He's not giving enough to charitable causes. Bill Gates is bending you over, Elon, and throwing it in dry when it comes to how much he is dominating your ass in charitable giving. Now, some people might say, no, the giving is coming, man. Like Bill Gates is older and further ahead. You know, company's been around for longer, but it's going to take a lot to catch Billy. And when it comes to maximizing well-being for yourself and those around you, one of the ways you're going to be doing this, outside of the great things, like I said, that the companies are bringing to the world, is charitable giving. So, yeah, let's open up the mics. Who's chomping at the bit to get in first? Robin?
Yes, I definitely am. Yes, and I plan to hit him up for the link thing.
Good.
Hopefully.
So that means you're only going to say positive, nice things. No, I'm kidding.
I thought about that.
Oh, you're breaking up a bit.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Much better.
Okay. One thing I'm going to say is, first, there was the world hunger thing with the world that he was supposed to have done with the WFP, where he, offered to end world hunger, and that they made up a plan, and the WFP created.
Oh, are you talking about the giving pledge? Yes,
and he actually, he ended up giving money, but there's no link. No, there's no thing that shows that it went to the WFP.
Can I read that in the record really quick, because that's very important. So,
but I had another. Hold on a minute. I had another point too, and I'm afraid I'll forget it. Okay. He also spent $291 million getting Trump elected in 2024. All of that money most of it went to Donald Trump's campaign. A lot of it went to other Republicans,
let's track that money today. We'll track it.
Yeah, and then of course, what he did when he went in after Trump got in office, and he went into Doge, he ended a lot of programs that resulted in the deaths or illness of a lot of people. With his, they got rid of all of the money that we were doing for to Africa for the AIDS program and stuff like that.
Let's look into the empirical goods on both of those things. So first of all, I'm interested because I follow the Giving Pledge. I think the Giving Pledge is awesome. So for those of you who don't know, my question was, did Elon Musk sign the Giving Pledge? Yes, he did. He signed the Giving Pledge in April of 2012. The Giving Pledge, founded by Bill Gates, Melinda Gates, and Warren Buffett, asked billionaires to commit to donating more than half of their wealth, either during their lifetimes or through their estates after death. What did Musk actually promise? In this Giving Pledge letter, Musk wrote, "There are lots of ways that Tesla and SpaceX are helping humanity. However, I also recognize that there are many people who have dedicated their lives to causes that are more direct." He concluded, "I have therefore committed to the Giving Pledge." The pledge itself is not legally binding. It is essentially a public declaration of intent. You can read Musk's official pledge letter. It's there. I won't read the pledge letter today, but people can look at it if they're interested. Has Musk fulfilled the pledge? Not yet, probably because he's not dead yet. But based on publicly documented giving, Musk has donated approximately $9 billion. Okay, that's the $9 billion we already went through. His estimated net worth is now $1 trillion. Therefore, he has transferred less than 1% of his current fortune to charitable causes. To satisfy the Giving Pledge today, Musk would ultimately need to donate more than $500 billion. So Elon's got a long way to go there. Of course, because the pledge allows donations through one's estate, Musk could theoretically fulfill the pledge decades from now through his will. So, of course, the fact that he dedicated to this pledge, if the tiniest micro percentage chance that Elon Musk sees a stream like this, you've made this pledge, and I think it's important that you carry this out. So we went through the percentages of where Musk is really lagging behind the other wealthy people with regards to charitable giving.
Travis, I was referring to the United Nations World Food Program.
Nations World Food. Well, I'm glad we went to the Giving Pledge anyway, because this one's really important. So he he owes the world, according to this pledge, you know, I guess he, you know, basically, you know, $500 billion minus the $9 billion he's already donated. So the United Nations World Food Program, WFP, became central to the public debate about Elon Musk's philanthropy in 2021. World Food Program is the world's largest humanitarian agency focused on hunger relief. It won the Nobel Peace Prize in 2020 for combating hunger and preventing the use of starvation as a weapon of war. What actually happened in October 2021, WFP Executive Director David Beasley told CNN that the world's wealthiest individuals could help avert a looming famine crisis. He said 6.6 billion would help 42 million people that are literally going to die if we don't reach them. Importantly, he did not say that 6.6 billion would permanently solve world hunger, of course. The phrase solve world hunger largely emerged through media headlines and paraphrasing Musk's response. Musk replied publicly, if WFP can describe on this Twitter thread exactly how 6 billion will solve world hunger, I will sell Tesla stock right now and do it. Many interpreted this as a challenge. Supporters saw it as a call for transparency. Critics saw it as moving the goalpost by reframing emergency famine relief as solving world hunger. WFP's detailed plan, the WFP responded with a public breakdown of how approximately 6.6 billion would be used. Their proposal, 3.5 billion for food procurement and delivery, 2 billion cash transfers and food vouchers, 700 million country-specific program implementation and monitoring, 400 million operations management, accountability, and supply chain coordination. The objective was to prevent famine among 42 million people across 43 countries for approximately 1 year, not eliminate hunger permanently. Did Musk donate to the WFP? No. There is no evidence that Musk donated money to the World Food Program following this exchange. Shortly after, Musk donated approximately 5.7 billion worth of Tesla shares to charity. However, public filings indicate those shares did not go to the WFP. The ultimate recipients were initially undisclosed, and much of the money appears to have flowed into entities associated with Musk Foundation. Was the WFP transparent? One of Musk's concerns was transparency. It's worth noting that the WFP publishes annual reports, participates in the International Aid Transparency Initiative, receives independent evaluations, received a very good transparency rating in the 2024 Aid Transparency Index. This does not mean every critic agrees with its spending priorities, but it does mean it is generally regarded as one of the more transparent large humanitarian organizations. Yeah, interesting. It seems like Musk didn't like how the money was being allocated, and then he donated elsewhere. God, it seems like it was a really good cause to donate to, though. Like it was a big opportunity to do a lot of good. It's kind of a shame. And the other thing I'm curious about, Robin, it was what exactly happened with the money Musk donated to the Trump campaign? How was it spent? Where did money go? All right. Most of Elon Musk's money did not go directly to Donald Trump's campaign. Instead, it went to super PACs, especially American PAC, which then spent the money independently to help elect Trump and other Republicans. Here's where the money actually went. The final Federal Election Commission filings show that Musk contributed approximately 277 to 288 million during the 2024 election cycle. That made him the largest political donor in America during that cycle. America PAC, 239 to 250 million. This was Musk's primary political vehicle. America PAC was a pro-Trump super PAC created in 2024. What did it spend the money on? Ground game operations. The largest category was voter turnout efforts in swing states. This included door-to-door canvassing, hiring thousands of field workers, phone banking, text messaging campaigns, recruiting volunteers, voter identification efforts, get out the vote programs. The 7 major battleground states included Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Arizona, Nevada, Georgia, North Carolina. The Guardian reported that roughly $37 million had been spent on the ground operation alone by late October 2024. Digital advertising, millions more went toward online video ads, social media advertisements, YouTube placements, targeted voter persuasion campaigns, data-driven voter modeling. These ads promoted Trump and attacked Democratic candidates. Direct mail, traditional mail pieces were sent to voters in swing states. These included persuasion mail, turnout reminders, issue-specific messaging, petition programs and cash incentives, congressional super PACs, $20 million. Musk also gave money to groups supporting Republicans in Congress, Senate Leadership Fund, approximately $10 million. The purpose was to elect Republican Senate candidates. Money went towards television ads, opposition research, voter outreach. Congressional Leadership Fund, approximately $10 million. Purpose, elect Republicans to the House. Money funded advertising campaign, infrastructure, voter mobilization. Mega Incorporated, $5 million. Mega Incorporated is Trump's main allied super PAC. Musk contributed approximately $5 million. This PAC typically spends on television advertising, direct mail, campaign messaging, legal expenses connected to campaign activities. What did Trump personally receive? This is important. Under federal law, super PACs cannot coordinate directly with campaigns. Therefore, Musk did not write Trump a personal check. He also did not donate hundreds of millions directly into Trump's campaign account. Instead, Musk funded outside groups that operated independently. The practical effect was to help elect Trump, but legally the money went to PACs. Was the money effective? Well, Trump won the election. However, whether Musk's spending was decisive remains debated. Supporters argue Pennsylvania's ground game was strengthened, turnout increased, Musk's X platform amplified messaging, America PAC filled organizational gaps. Yeah, the return on investment question. From a purely financial perspective, some analysis observed that Musk spent roughly $280 million, while the market value of his companies increased by tens or even hundreds of billions of dollars following Trump's victory. That does not prove causation, but it fueled criticism that political donations can function as investments in favorable regulatory environments. Supporters counter that. Musk backed Trump because of genuine ideological concerns about regulation, immigration, free speech, and government efficiency. So yeah, I mean, like, Musk can, legally make these donations. Of course, ethically, I couldn't disagree with him more about supporting Donald Trump, and everyone's heard me rant and rave enough about that. I don't want to get into a Trump-centered debate or conversation tonight. It's more about Elon Musk, the world's first trillionaire. And so like, if people don't like that wealthy people are able to do this, I think our frustration and effort should be made towards changing this or adding additional legislation to keep things like this from happening.
Well,
so anyways, I wanted to go through that, but yeah, go ahead, Tyson.
I was going to say, do you think like the efficacy of having billionaires and, well, let's just say trillionaires and big corporate owners have such political sway in our system that it influences elections, or at least has a impact on elections, and then on top of that, has poor economic effects on the bottom and lower classes?
Well, it doesn't necessarily have to, right? Because it's going to be based on how it all goes in the end for how the money is spent. So you could have someone who has a fuck ton of money. Like, there have been many people throughout history who have a fuck ton of money, like that are donating to campaigns like the Obama campaign, right? Because they believed that Obama was doing the best thing when it comes to human well-being. Fundamentally, there are going to be differences of where people believe it's best to spend money. Like some people have this attitude of like, oh, you need to teach people how to fish. You don't just throw them a fish. You got to teach them how to fish for themselves. And then, of course, we can argue about those ideas. Does the person have the physical and mental capacity to fish for themselves? And what if they don't? Like, what do we do then? There's a lot of different conversations, but it's going to boil down to ideology and how the money is, at the end of the day, actually being spent, and what the focus of leadership is when it comes to what kind of programs they're trying to support, or what kinds of things they're trying to go after when it comes to executive action. All of these different kinds of things need to be taken into consideration. So it's not necessarily always going to be a bad outcome from a well-being standpoint, but it can be. So the question is, for the American people, do they like the idea that people with money and power can throw their money that they have earned towards campaigns? Should there be a cap on how much money can be ultimately donated, so that there's not this, like Elon Musk, the trillionaire? How are you going to go against campaign financing that is supported by Elon Musk? How are you going to battle that? Well,
you really can't. Like, that's the thing.
Well, depending on how much he's wants to quote unquote invest to try and win, right? But it is just demonstrably the case that if Republicans win, if conservatives win, I think it ultimately does, just based on the general policies that tend to come with that, I think it ultimately will benefit Elon Musk and his goals and his financial standing.
Well, that's the problem with the incentive structure, because the wealth inequality grows. For instance, the United States used to have such a sharp wealth inequality, comparatively, like when you go back to the 60s or 40s. Now, when you come down to, let's just say, if you look at the empirical data now, it's worse, like way worse. Evidence being trillionaires.
Well, we have our Supreme Court made a couple of rulings that made that possible, like the Citizens United, which gives corporations and stuff like the status of like a citizen, and so there's only until like the Supreme Court overturns their rulings on like things like Citizens United, there's only a certain amount of legislation that the Congress can even pass that would interfere with that, because the Supreme Court has already ruled on that situation.
But I feel like it should be in violation of the Sherman antitrust law. At least we developed it a long time ago.
I know, but like the Supreme Court ruled on it, and it was a major case there. I will say though that Elon Musk, following Trump's election and everything, the Wisconsin Supreme Court, there was an election there, and he spent a massive amount of money on that too, trying to elect the conservative justice for the Wisconsin Supreme Court, and he ended up losing that election. Actually, that his candidate did not win. So that was, you can overcome, this massive amount of money, but it's hard. It takes a lot of work.
Something to mention is too, just to read this into the record, Democratic presidents have produced slightly more income growth for poor families than for rich families, resulting in a modest decrease in overall inequality, and this is in the last 20 years. Republican presidents have produced a great deal more income growth for rich families than for poor families, resulting in a substantial increase in inequality. So that's where the general consensus of the academic economists is at right now.
And look up how many jobs have been created by the
like, if I'm not mistaken, policies like economic policies take a long time depending on administrations. Like administrations can be long gone, and their policies will still be affecting the economy.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Yeah, compare the job creation but like that's getting away from Elon Musk. But the job
Yeah, let's.
creation, like a huge significant difference.
Yeah,
That's
and
why
what
I
is ever? So we want to get a lot of voices involved today. Just initial reactions to Elon Musk, the first human trillionaire. What are the general thoughts?
Puke.
And why do you say puke, Casey?
I don't think that, like, you had made a comment earlier about wealth being important that leads to innovation, right? And I agree. I don't think that one individual having that amount is a means to do that. I do think that you see people using charities and stuff as a ways to just basically maintain more wealth rather than spreading it around and leading to higher innovation. I think we have things like venture capital, governments, universities. There's so many ways that you can get similar effects, maybe higher efficacy of it without one person.
But do you have any specific issues with Elon Musk's spending in his charities?
From what you read, I don't know enough details. I'm not against people spending on charity. Like, that's fine. I just don't think it's as effective. If the means is to
Yeah.
yeah,
I was just
depends
curious
on what
why.
the charity's doing and all that, but yeah.
Yeah, I was just curious. Like, you were kind of mentioning that you thought that it was. Do you think it's like a common occurrence that people are committing charity fraud?
No, it's not fraud. It's just an easy way to like show that, oh, okay, I'm donating some of my money. Like Bill Gates, he donates plenty, and yet he's still extremely wealthy. And why? Like, why does one person need that amount of wealth? If the argument is for innovation, there are many other ways that we can innovate.
I mean, Bill Gates has dedicated like 90% of his own personal wealth to charitable endeavors. Yeah, but you seem, yeah, it's more than just fine. It's the virtuous thing to do. No.
Yes.
Okay.
It's fine. Again, I don't think, like, compared to what the average worker that he makes, I don't know enough about Microsoft and all that to be able to say, like, he as an individual to be able to donate that much compared to what would his workers like to be able to donate? Do they have the same means to be able to? Obviously not, if they're not at the same level of wealth as him.
Yeah, I just think it's worth celebrating when you have someone like Bill Gates who has amassed as much wealth as he has, and he's leading by example in donating the overwhelming majority of it. And I believe also, like, through the Giving Pledge, I think it's like 98% of his wealth when he dies will be going to charity. Like, I think that's worth celebrating. I think this is something that should be positively lensed, not like it's fine. Like, I think it's a huge achievement to generate that kind of wealth and then have the ethical fortitude to give it back by way of charity to humanity. I think that's what we should want to see.
I mean, would you say the same of organizations that are doing the same thing? Like, when it comes to an individual doing that, yes, we can celebrate that individual. I just think, like, we can have the same kind of attitude towards groups of people that are doing the work behind these charities. Like, that's ultimately what we want, right? We want to see the innovations coming out of it. We want the charitable work to be done. Somebody donating we can celebrate that, sure. I don't know if I celebrate that as much as the people that are doing the charitable work itself. I don't know, how do you kind of
I don't get what
quantify
you
that
mean.
for yourself.
So he's donating. Bill Gates is donating this money to all of these important causes. You know, basically eliminating malaria from large swaths of Africa just through his own, you know, his own generation of money. So that alone, I think, is virtuous from a well-being perspective. I think it's virtuous the people who work for those charities and the work they're doing too. I just think I think it's important to give credit where credit's due. And I feel like there are people out there, I'm not saying this is necessarily you, but I feel like there are people out there that see rich man and they automatically go, there must be something bad going on here, or you don't like something about it just because they have this much money. To me, it's important. What's important to me is what they are doing with those funds. And based on where Elon Musk is at with his net worth, I don't think he's doing near enough by way of charity. So he should be more like Bill Gates, who I think is doing the correct thing with the money.
Well, like Bill Gates is the same kind of guy, though, that also buys up swaths of land under different corporate names too.
What's that? Say that again.
I said Bill Gates is also the kind of guy that will buy up huge swaths of land too.
Yeah,
but you know that's a bit different because, like,
do you know what he's doing? Do you know what he's doing with?
Yeah,
do you know what he's doing with the land?
Farming. He's buying up
the world
tons
needs
of agricultural land.
Yeah, for farming. Yeah, and he's turning that land into land that's generating food.
It already was. Although, like, my main critique, though, is, I mean, if you are a billionaire that has a company that is massive, your company is not only run by you, it's run by shareholders, etc.
Yeah,
and those shareholders, people, are going to be incentivized to use every loophole in the tax system, for instance. And the people that do the public work, such as R&D and you know, your military technologies that go into later consumer grade goods are, you know, less accounted for, and the billionaire takes the credit for most of the innovation when the public spent billions of dollars doing it.
Why do you think the billionaire takes credit for most of the innovation? Where do you get that from? I don't think that's accurate.
Because most people don't know where Google Maps comes from, for instance, or your smartphone technology comes from, or the internet comes from. Those came from early R&D projects.
Yeah, but do you think people just attribute those things to, like, you know, Apple CEOs and ownership, you know, smacking hammers and plastic together, you know, in the shop? Or do you think people know better? Do you think people know better than that, right?
Not really. A lot of people contribute to private innovation alone.
What?
I said I think a lot of people contributed to private innovation alone, and I could be wrong, but
yeah, I would wonder. I would wonder what like empirical data, like stat or data, you're basing that belief on. The a lot of people part. So I'd be curious about that.
I mean, I don't know if I could dig too far to reach there, but I don't have to dig too far to reach there. I mean, the United States has the reading level of the 6th grade, or half of them do. So, yeah, I mean, if I'm to
that's not a demonstration of your claim,
not a lot of
right?
people are not going to know.
Like, do you think people think that Elon Musk is out there, you know, banging, you know, banging Tesla trucks together and creating the manufacturing blueprints and all of that stuff? Like, I don't think people are ignorant in that way.
Well, I think that's a misinterpretation of my claim. My claim is that people take private innovation and think that it's usually these companies that do it alone, when a lot of it is government funding and R&D projects that help that development go in the first place. It's not just the billionaire themselves with a hammer.
Yeah, but it depends. Yeah, it depends, like, what questions people are being asked. Like, there is a particular kind of credit due to Elon Musk. Sometimes people might give over credit or no credit to Elon Musk, and both perspectives would be wrong, right? There's some credit due.
Yes.
And then
Well, I
there's
think
yeah. Go ahead.
like
Yeah.
I'm not bashing on private innovation. I'm bashing on the concept or the notion that at least we should not divvy up the praise, I guess. Because I think the praise should be divvied up, and we should see a more fair system overall. If
Yep.
we contribute more, quite a bit.
I want to. I do want to focus. Like, if anyone is going to bring an argument, let's try to focus on Elon Musk and Elon Musk companies, specifically Elon Musk the man. If we want to make some ethical claims, normative claims about him as a human being, for example, his lack of conscientiousness when it comes to talking about trans issues publicly is something that bothers me. The way he talks about his daughter bothers me. I think it's very, it's antithetical to what I think is good or the good life. So we can talk about things like that today, and the difference between Elon Musk, the politician or the ethicist, versus Elon Musk, the businessman, innovator. Yeah, whatever we want to talk about is open. So it looks like for some reason, like on my Discord, it doesn't show me people's full names sometimes. I just have to open my phone. Yeah, Driftonwood, do you have something you want to say?
Yeah, sorry. I guess I would just kind of have concern because you were mentioning like the super PAC, the America PAC, right?
Yeah.
And so I was just kind of looking into it, and normally PACs aren't allowed to coordinate with political candidates. But in March of 2024, the FEC gave a ruling or an opinion that allowed candidates to coordinate with PACs on canvassing and like door to door.
So I guess they're allowed, hey?
They're now allowed to.
Do you think they've always been allowed?
Yeah.
Like, what did the opinion? I'm just curious. Was the opinion that this is just something that has never been breached, or was the opinion that this has always been the case, or was a new piece of legislation dropped?
FEC. So an advisory opinion, the FEC unanimously approved advisory opinion 2024-01 regarding Texas Majority PAC, concluding that paid canvassing literature and scripts do not constitute coordinated communications.
Copy that. By the way, everybody, if it's not too much to ask, if you're able to have the YouTube live stream playing on our new Pangburn Live channel and just have it muted in the background, that would be awesome. And the more we can chat on YouTube as opposed to on Discord, the better. If you guys want to use that chat, you don't have to, but it just helps the channel out. Okay, that's interesting. So what do you think about that, Driftonwood?
And so the FEC chair who made, I guess, I will admit I'm not fully sure how the FEC works with making rulings of that nature, but his name was Sean Cooksey, and Sean Cooksey was put into position by Donald Trump in 2020. And then currently Sean Cooksey is the counsel to the vice president, J.D. Vance.
Right. So are you painting like a conspiracy here, or?
I don't know. There's definitely seems to be more to. So I would so after the ruling in March, in May is when the America PAC got started, and then Elon Musk started dumping hundreds of millions of dollars into the election. I just, I guess I don't have any other evidence other than those strings of facts, but
Yeah,
it would
I think.
seem to me that
Yeah, I think it's just always way more likely that it's not like a conspiracy, that these are things that just are coincidences that can line up if we draw the lines. But yeah, if there's like direct evidence of people within a system, like, fucking around or breaking the rules, then this should be challenged. And it sounds like there was a ruling. And an opinion given. I'm sure it didn't just come from one person, right?
I'm sure there was some type of unanimous ruling on it.
Right. Which is that's interesting. But yeah, I hear what you're saying. Sometimes, people can try to get away with murder. Within systems, but I'm just not convinced at this point that this is necessarily one of those cases. But
no, that's understandable. I just, I probably slippery slope fallacy, but I just am concerned about like the oligarchy.
Yep.
Probably.
Yep, I get it. And when you start having people like Elon Musk getting very interested in politics, right? That's when it becomes different than if Elon Musk wasn't interested in politics. Like if Elon Musk was a trillionaire who was just like building his companies and making his donations and whatnot on the side, but Elon Musk, made it, a very important aspect of his year in, I think it was 2024, to be, actively engaged in trying to get a particular individual elected. The richest guy in the world was active in that. I think that starts maybe exposing the system to perhaps needing an update on like cap limits when it comes to financial support for campaigns, and something so that you don't have like a multi-trillionaire, because it looks like Elon Musk's wealth is just growing exponentially. Like his wealth growth is not going to stop. So it might take an Elon Musk for the United States to be like, okay, now that this is the case, and now that even though not every trillionaire necessarily is going to have a deep interest like Elon Musk in affecting elections, we have to do something here that's going to, maintain democratic norms. I think that's a reason. I think that's a reasonable thing for people to realize that, and sometimes it takes something like this to happen. Like if Elon Musk wouldn't have, if it would have been like a Warren Buffett type person or someone else who isn't like on the campaign trail, like, shoveling hundreds of millions of dollars towards a campaign, all of the influence that the company has behind Elon Musk as well. Like, yeah, I don't think it should be the case that these people cannot be involved in the democratic process, but surely, in order for there not to be a monopolization of some kind of the democratic process, you want to make sure that there are checks and balances in place that preserve democratic norms. I think that's completely reasonable.
Well, and I think before Citizens United, it was like the most an individual could contribute to a single campaign was like $1,000 or something. And then they came out with Citizens United and the ability to make super PACs and PACs. And you can't coordinate with. It's silly because I think Stephen Colbert did a great skit on this back forever ago, where he and his sidekick both pretended that they were starting super PACs to support each other, and they're like, and of course we're not going to coordinate, and it's just like, I mean, it's like so obvious.
Would be wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I hear you. Like I have those same concerns, and I don't think that this particular thing is people should be pointing at Elon Musk and be like, it's his fault, or he's doing the evil thing. I mean, Elon Musk is dancing within the lines of the system and playing to win, just like Barack Obama did successfully, just like, everyone else who's been politically successful. It's important for candidates to try and get the wealthiest of people who tend to agree with them to get on board and plow the campaign trail with them and get their money their money involved. Because of course Elon Musk's money made a difference. Like if people want to sit there and say that, like, oh, the appearance of Joe Rogan made a huge difference, like, then you have to agree that Elon Musk's 290 million or whatever it was made a fucking difference. Like, come on.
And I agree that we can't just sit there and be like, it's all Elon Musk's fault, because he's just either exploiting or just a part of a poor system.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even say exploiting. Like, people get into this, like, issue of, like, oh, you're exploiting the system. Well, are you breaking rules? No. Well, are you using the rules in a way that they weren't intended to be used? Yeah, they are. Oh, well, let's get some legal opinions on that. Let's get some, and then the legal opinions tend to be split down like the Republican side and the Democrat side. So it's just like, I think more precise legislation is always the answer to, if there's anything they think that someone might be quote unquote exploiting, that's a good signal to go in and refine. If there's enough agreement that it's, if things are being exposed or misused. What about anyone else? Brett, do you have any thoughts about Elon Musk, the first human trillionaire? I really hope, that he becomes the guy to change the face of the world when it comes to poverty. I hope he becomes the guy that changes the face of the world when it comes to clean water scarcity, to carbon collection in our atmosphere, all of these different things. That's what I hope. But so I have a lot of hope. I have a lot of positivity. I have major concerns about him as an ethical being. I think he makes a lot of ethical missteps in the way he communicates about political issues. But where are you at, Brett?
I share your hope with using that power and influence for a better world. We'll see how it, goes down the road. But I also am a little concerned, I think, because at least if I was catching what Casey said a little bit ago, yeah. I don't know that all that concentrated wealth really, is it a good thing for one person to have or handle? I'm not sure. But, if he is doing things like, Bill Gates is doing with malaria, and we can track it and, we can, show evidence of it and whatnot, and that it's not, similar stuff to like Doge when he was first, having some influence with Trump.
Yeah.
Then I would be okay with it. I remain undecided, however, just because, I think I need to see more evidence. So
yeah, I mean, it's quite abysmal right now, the percentage comparisons, like even if Elon Musk was to double his $9 billion in charitable giving right now, he's still behind Zuckerberg, who's got way less money than him, right? He's still behind, and I mean, it might, some people will sit there cynically, or no, I should say, some people will sit there sycophantically and say, well, how many billions have you donated, Trav? Well, I haven't donated billions, but the amount of charity I've done and donated based on my wealth accumulation through my life is way higher percentage than 1%. Like, it's pretty far up there, and I think that should be all of our. It should be everyone's goal to do that, to be engaged in charitable giving. It's not only for the good it does for others, but for yourself as well. It does a lot of good for yourself. So,
and that's
but Brett, I just wanted to agree with the first thing you said, is that this idea that like this much wealth power on one man's shoulders, because we are all fallible beings. If I fuck up and make a big mistake, or say something, or scare away people, or deter people from doing something very good, right? Like donating to a particular food need. And if I'm on my platform X and I say, this is stupid, people should be donating to, like, you know, our organization that's focused on schooling, but like people need food right now or they're going to die. So like if one person is like in Elon Musk's position is making that kind of error, a fallible faux pas from me is much different than a fallible faux pas of a person with $1 trillion and, you know, some of the most successful businesses that the world has ever seen. But I do think the answer is not to take that money away from Elon Musk. I'm all for, by the way, raising, you know, the taxes and all this stuff, having wealthy people pay their fair share. But I think mainly the answer is that law, the legal system needs to help shape where there are limits. Putting limits on things is a good thing. It's not necessarily a negative thing. Like campaign financing, I think there should be limits, because I think essentially anyone could win the election with Elon Musk's backing. Like I don't think it would be that hard to imagine any celebrity, for example, even doing better than Trump, because I don't think Trump knows what the fuck he's doing at all. So, you know, yeah, I guess I'm not for necessarily. I'm for incentivizing Elon Musk to do more with his money, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And if someone were to, you know, like you said earlier, if someone were to accuse you of the, you know, charity point that you made about, you know, being you know, how much you've donated and stuff, like that's just a false comparison, right? It's just, you know, people can only do what they have with how much resources they have. And people try to sometimes, I think, argue about, no, their taxes shouldn't be higher and stuff like that. It's like, but I think they're proving in New York right now that, you know, I don't know if you heard, but as Mandami got elected, he raised taxes on certain individuals and certain buildings that are like $1 million homes in New York, that are basically staying empty. Like, I don't know how much of the year, I forget what the report said, but it's just like that capital and other stuff right now. Yeah, it has to go back into systems to a certain degree, you know, to help with, you know, basic necessities. You know, as the future changes even more with AI and jobs and stuff like that, like I don't know that we're going to be able to avoid a universal basic income. I know that's a different topic, but I feel like it's going to change, like you've talked about, pretty randomly. And but yeah, it's definitely a I don't know if you would say a double-edged sword, but I'll stop there.
I think double-edged sword is a interesting way to put this. Yeah, go ahead, Curtis.
I was just going to say about the charity thing. Like, if we had Elon Musk donate $100 billion to Internet for Humanity, a charity, everyone would say that's a great thing. But to build it and to do unbelievable things to bring internet to everyone on the planet is, in fact, in my mind, charity. What that will do for the world is philanthropic.
Well, There's a reason why we have different words for charity, right?
Yeah, one is you donate it, but if the result, if you only look at outcome, if you're a consequentialist and you're only looking at outcome, if you do something that is so good for humanity and make money, or you donate it in mass, which often isn't utilized as well as it could be.
Yeah, you're just conflating categories here, though. So the academic definition for charity is the voluntary transfer of resources, time, effort, or concern to benefit others without a direct expectation of equivalent return. That isn't to say...
I understand that.
That isn't
but I don't
to
agree
say,
with it.
So you don't agree with that definition, the academic definition for charity?
Well, I agree with the definition, but if you're actually looking at just consequences, I don't know why it matters. If we do it through charity, that's often not done very well. Or if he does it through profit, but actually gets the outcome that gets people internet.
Because
I'm okay with that.
Because there is a difference between money-making endeavors and charitable endeavors. A lot of charitable endeavors can't generate money. They don't make money. It's just about giving. Do you see the difference?
I don't. Maybe you don't understand what I'm saying. If you make money and have a bigger impact.
Yeah, you're talking about well-being outcomes, but there's a difference between affecting well-being outcomes by generating, good business that is providing needed services, or battling climate change like electric vehicles and things like this. But the point is that there's you're not going to be able to make the kinds of impact on things that aren't good business that are desperately needed around the planet. For example, it's not good business to just go around building needed freshwater wells in sub-Saharan Africa. It's not good business. It's great charity. It's not going to generate you fuck all for money. Fuck all.
Except if it did. So if you could turn that into a business and bring massive amounts of clean water to people, but it wasn't through charity, is that not still good? Because the internet was a big one. They said the cost was huge, and the connectivity for humanity, the charity, wanted to do that.
Yeah, but there is no business potential in some of these areas in sub-Saharan Africa you're talking about, like at this stage. What?
So you'd have to build something to bring a business potential to that, just like he had to build starships to bring internet, which at the time they couldn't justify.
But you have to try to understand where some of these areas are at. They're living in round huts. They've just gone through a 12-year war.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
There's food and water scarcity. So the primary focus should be on clean water, food, shelter, education. So
those are the only things that will be charity.
No, I said, I'm talking about what should be made primary. So that's made primary so that the basic needs of the individuals are covered, which I consider education a basic need. So those things are covered. Then you're right. In those areas, they need innovation. They need ways to generate and become prosperous, and that will give them avenues to thrive. That's important.
But that's my point.
All of this is not an argument against the charity that is needed, that is bad business, but still needed throughout sub-Saharan Africa as one example right now. They need the stuff that is not ready for the business step.
I agree with you.
Okay.
I'm saying he did one that was bad business by every metric 10 years ago to bring internet to sub-Saharan Africa for education. There was no business case for that. He made it a business case by doing it everywhere.
So
he had an outcome.
Hang on. The business model with regards to Starlink, is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
was not to bring internet to sub-Saharan Africa where there's no electricity in the roundhouse areas, of just north of Gulu City or wherever you're looking at, right?
But many of these places now have internet, even if it wasn't the business case.
Okay, yeah,
they have it.
But you understand that many of the people do not have electricity in this area. They don't have ways to charge phones. They don't have phones.
So,
they don't have.
But a lot of them do.
computers.
A lot of places do have internet.
I'm not talking about the people who have the food, water, shelter, and education needs covered, and they are in this thrival state where they're able to have cell phones and be able to connect to the internet. Do you see what I'm saying here? There's
A lot of these
difference,
aren't.
there's a difference between
These schools that have Starlink are solar and they're in very poor areas, but they do have internet now because of him. So that is a step
Yes.
that I would say is philanthropic, and it's a
large
it's not
amount. It's not purely philanthropic because
I'm not saying it's purely.
Starlink is $1 billion, business, right? It's
Absolutely.
It's big business. Now, as a byproduct of the successful big business, then Elon Musk can do the charitable thing and provide free internet, and that's fantastic. I'm not
Just
saying.
like I think
I'm just telling
the
you
data-
that there's a taxonomical categorical issue happening if we see Starlink itself as a philanthropic endeavor.
Just like I think data centers that they build will be philanthropic in the fact that they will cure diseases for everyone.
No,
I mean,
except for like they're using up all of the community's water sources, and they're raising the electric bill for the electric costs for like everybody that lives in those that uses those, like like everybody is paying for those things, those data centers, and he got military, like trillions in dollars worth of military contracts out of his Starlink stuff. Like he didn't do it, or it wasn't a philanthropic reason.
Trillions of dollars of
Worth of military contracts. Yes, I mean like
a company that has revenue of 20 billion.
I think she said billions. I think she said billions of dollars.
Look at how much military contracts did he get out of that? And
and I would argue that is almost like a tax revenue because now the government no longer spends a fortune sending their rockets that are non-reusable. So they save money. And yes, Elon is more effective, so he does get the contract.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
but it's far better than.
But we're talking about I don't think anyone's disagreeing with you that the charity aspect of now that you have a booming business technology that is Starlink, that the right thing to do is spread that wealth to people who need it most. It's a fantastic thing.
No, I'm saying him keeping it and continuing to build Neuralink to make quadriplegics walk again.
Oh yeah,
to build data centers too.
Yeah, that's all fantastic. The goals of this of what's happening with some. I love Neuralink. I love what it's going to be doing for people who have disabilities that can be completely cured or even just simply made better for their lives by way of this chip technology.
But wasn't that the best use of the deployment of capital?
Yeah. So I think you're missing the issue here, the difference between charitable giving, where there is no incentive, there is no return incentive involved in that. The return is simply how you get to feel about it.
Yeah.
That's it.
But why do we care about that if there's a return?
Oh, well,
why is that something that?
Well, why do we care about it? Because, like I already outlined to you,
consequentially, you could make money.
Listen. You're engaging in simple consequentialist calculus here, and I think it's getting in the way. It's because a lot of the endeavors that are needed, like this is a fantastic one. Like there are aspects of battling malaria in Africa that were just developed ground up and mass produced ground up by the Gates Foundation to save approximately 12.7 million lives. since the year 2000. 2.2 billion malaria cases were prevented by the foundation. Now, those weren't developed by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation as a profiteering endeavor, and then they donated the prevention methods of preventing malaria cases in Africa.
Yeah.
So there's a difference between doing that by just, we're here to spend money and get no money back.
Oh, I'm not saying there's not different ways to do it. Like if he went in,
that's the fundamental difference between, I'm just trying to get that through to you. That's the fundamental difference between charity and something that's non-charity.
I get the difference there. What I'm saying is, if he went into a town that had no clean water and everyone's suffering, he goes, you know what? This area is good for mining. If I get the clean water and bring health care and I can get all these people to work for me and make money, would that not be the same outcome? He does it profitably, because that's what he did with Starlink, and he's done with many endeavors.
So the outcome can be the same.
But he doesn't do it as charity.
Lots of philanthropists do operate the way you're talking about, and I'm not necessarily against that. Like a lot of,
that's what I'm saying.
There are a lot of, no, don't say you guys, don't
no, you in particular, because I was only listening to you.
Yeah, well, don't graft things onto me that I haven't said, right?
Well, you just said that you wanted him to donate more.
Well, of course.
I was just listening to you with Brad.
Of course, to the issues that where there is no incentive, where they're not ready for industry yet. I'm talking about specific issues where there's no feasible industry to be had until they have enough time to raise the poverty level of the area by way of food, shelter, education, clean water. Until they have that opportunity to raise that, trying to go in there and start big industry with impoverished people doesn't fucking work. It doesn't work. Now, there are situations. Let me say one more thing. Now, there are situations that you might be able to point to where there's an opportunity. Like, if you could bring in a mining organization into a very impoverished area, and the mining organization starts generating wealth for the community and jobs, and is helping to raise the poverty situation. It's not to say that it's impossible for this to be done, but I'm saying there are parts of the world where nothing about that area is ready for industry. What should be the focus, and it doesn't have the time. There isn't the time to establish industry there. They need food now. They need clean water now. They need shelter now.
Sure. So, and like you said, Gates has done a great job on that, and I really respect Gates for doing that with malaria. I just don't know why Elon's taking a different approach, dealing with different problems that are far more difficult and costly, and he's just chosen them. But we shouldn't say, well, he should do this, put our own thing on of what we believe he should do. He's picked one that he thinks is very important for the long-term growth of humanity.
Yeah.
And it requires a different approach. And yes, there's a lot of other people that do different. Gates is a great example.
What I'm saying is I agree with a lot of technologies Elon Musk is investing in, and obviously he's doing something that is important to people, because his businesses wouldn't be booming if people didn't find these things important. That's just the fact of the case. People find Tesla cars important, for example. Like we can stack it up now, but that doesn't mean he is spending enough on the other things, like directly providing food, water, shelter, and education directly by way of simple charitable donations that are needed in the here and now, not by developing businesses in sub-Saharan Africa, but by dealing with the starving children that are starving all over the place in sub-Saharan Africa. So it's like he could, with 2% donation, save the lives of millions of people right now. That's my critique, not the other thing you're talking about.
So again, this is what just talking about Elon and what he's chosen to do. Let's say when he was, a billionaire and he gave away a pile of money because
Yeah.
he should have at that point and didn't just use capital allocation all the time. And when his third rocket blew up and he couldn't afford to do the next thing, if he would have run out of money
I know
at
what you're
that
saying,
point,
yeah.
none of this
I'm not
would
gonna
have
hold-
happened. But if
Yeah,
he had
yeah,
that,
no,
if he
I'm
had
not-
that mindset, none of this happens. If he had that charity mindset, he's a very unique individual that he looks at it from a business case.
But we are at a different stage now with the $1 trillion, right? It's a much different.
Say so.
What's that?
It means giving control of his companies up because it's not $1 trillion. It's controlling companies.
It's in assets and much less liquidity, but that doesn't mean he can't give stock wealth to, even if he wants to start another charity. I'm looking to where he's attacking the immediate issues that are leading to death. Go ahead, Robin.
And like I looked it up, like he received over $200 million worth of contracts for Starlink, and that's not even counting how much the American government actually provided in subsidies. So you would have to look that up. My phone is over there on charge, so it was going dead. But like he is doing nothing. Like in my opinion, he is doing none of this for the good of humanity. This is for his profit. Like he's doing this. It's a business model. And so you said earlier that was bad for his business model. No. Like creating Starlink was not bad for his business model, and if there's if there are not everybody in Sub-Saharan Africa has Starlink either, because we are well aware of that right now. So he also took it when during the Ukraine and Russian war and turned it off on Ukraine, So should a person who has potential, personal relationships with leaders of countries be in charge of stuff that is managing the military, stuff, the safety of nations? No, especially somebody with his tendency to get angry. I mean, he came out and said all kinds of stuff about Trump out of anger, and I don't see how that you think he's doing. He's profiting. He is in this position of wealth because of the things he's doing, not because he's been donating stuff.
But also on the other hand, Robin, don't you think it's a good thing for him with this flourishing Starlink business to donate Starlink to other parts of the world? I think that's a fantastic thing. Yeah.
And I think he may do that. I think he may do that. I don't know, but I think though that it was not. I don't necessarily think that he'd done any of that though with the intention of I'll be able to provide these people with that. And you brought up I'm not just talking about with him with this on the mining. When you go into places like Africa and you open these mining companies, that often turns into slave labor that is extracting resources from nations for hardly any money. It seldom turns into a really good ideal.
No, it does take time. There's no doubt that this type of stuff happens in India and China and every developing nation. It's done at slave labor at first and slowly built up. But it gets better. It doesn't happen overnight.
But why don't we not start it at slave labor? We don't have to do that.
It's not how economics works.
Well, it's because we've chose to do that. As a country, we have chose to do that all around the world, and we're not the only ones. You know what I mean?
It's literally how it works. The alternative is a system of economics that has no proven history of working. In fact, kills en masse. So.
Well, I mean, I would say that the colonial system has killed en masse too.
What kills en masse? What system?
Communism. If you were to make it where everyone is paid at what you believe should be the wage, because the belief wage is whatever the government says. You destroy business and.
Do you Okay, I don't want to go down another rabbit hole, Trav. Sorry.
Yeah, let's make sure we try to stay on today's topic. I just wanted to read into the record what SpaceX has donated thus far to. We already talked about Ukraine. They provided thousands of thousand. Wait,
I just want to point out the
wait.
Ukraine thing is Starshield. It's not Starlink.
Let's see.
That was switched over because he did not want to be in charge of military, so they started Starshield.
No,
that's a government.
They're calling it Starlink here. I don't know why.
But it's Starshield, like if we're talking about truth.
Well,
like look at Starshield. That's the military grade.
Yeah, not according to this, but we can look up what Starshield is after this. So after Russia invaded Ukraine, February 2022, Musk activated Starlink services over the country after a public request from Ukrainian officials. SpaceX provided thousands of Starlink terminals initially, eventually over 20,000 terminals, free subscriptions for many users during the early phase of the war. Musk later stated about 20,000 satellite units have been donated at a cost of roughly $80 million to SpaceX. He later claimed the annual cost could approach $400 million per year before the U.S. Department of Defense and allied governments began covering portions of the expense. Was Ukraine completely free? Initially, much of it was. Later, Poland, the Pentagon, European governments, and other donors paid for significant portions of ongoing service. To Tonga in 2022, after the January 2022 volcanic eruption and tsunami severed Tonga's undersea communications cable, SpaceX donated 50 Starlink VSAT terminals. The Tongan government reported these terminals were used to provide fast and free of charge internet service across multiple island groups. This appears to have been a genuine humanitarian donation. Iran in 2022, following protests in Iran, Musk announced activating Starlink after U.S. sanctions rules were adjusted. However, this was not a donation to the Iranian government. Instead, Starlink access became technically available. Activists and third parties worked to smuggle terminals into Iran. There is little evidence that Musk personally funded widespread free nationwide access. Venezuela in 2026, recent reports indicate that Starlink announced temporary free broadband access for people in Venezuela. The details remain limited, but the initiative appears to be temporary, humanitarian in nature, rather than permanent free national service. Disaster relief. SpaceX has repeatedly deployed Starlink domestically. Examples include hurricanes, wildfires, floods. During the Los Angeles wildfires, Musk announced SpaceX will provide free Starlink terminals to affected areas. So has Musk donated Starlink to countries for free. Ukraine, the equipment was donated, yes. Free service, yes. Initially, permanent, no. So there's no permanent donations.
No permanent.
Tonga, yes, no. Iran, limited. Venezuela, limited, temporary, no. U.S. disasters, yes. Equipment donated. Free service, temporary, and permanent, no. So yeah, there's been a fair amount of donations happening from Starlink. Nothing for. Well, I guess we have Tom.
No, the point I was making, because I think it was Robin that was saying that, is when he cut off Ukraine, it's because they switched over to Starshield. He didn't want to have any say in military or what countries did. So it's a completely different network built off the Starlink technology, but it's different satellites for government.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the Starshield thing now. Starshield is essentially SpaceX's military and government version of Starlink. Yeah, go ahead.
Are we attributing what SpaceX does directly to Elon Musk? Because I've heard the combination or the mention of Bill Gates, and it seems like Bill Gates's philanthropy comes from his personal coffers, not from Microsoft's capability.
Well, SpaceX, I would attribute to Elon Musk, has 82% of the voting shares. He is SpaceX. This isn't a normal public company. He controls it completely.
Right. But SpaceX stands to get positive PR out of that.
Sure.
As well as, like, there's lots of stuff that goes on.
Sure.
I'm just thinking like if you were to equate it to Bill Gates,
I'm
Bill
not equating
Gates
that.
is using his.
Yeah. Yeah. Bill
I'm not
Gates.
saying
Yeah.
you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just mentioning that Bill Gates has been brought up,
Yeah.
and he's
Bill
doing
Gates
stuff
is doing Bill Gates is
separate
charity,
from
100%.
Microsoft.
Yeah, Bill Gates is charity. That's his personal wealth, and it seems to be charity with the Gates Foundation, funded by Bill Gates.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
again,
so-
we're at 70.
I don't think
Yeah.
you're comparing them. I don't think they're the same thing. Like that is the definition of charity is what Bill Gates is doing.
Yes. That he didn't. Okay. Yeah. Let's get some other voices involved here. Who hasn't spoken yet and wants to share something about how they feel about the world's first human trillionaire? I'm just glad it wasn't like a Komodo dragon who was the first trillionaire. It would have been way worse. Yeah. Go ahead, Scotty.
Hey, that trillionaire is, I mean, like that's all, investment money, right? So that's not even
Yeah,
technically real.
Well, it's asset and liquid, and for most business owners, they understand that when you're that asset rich, your liquidity is going to be very low, like below 5%, right? But I don't think that's a dunk on Elon Musk. That's just the reality of like, where real huge amounts of wealth come from.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's just a system, not anything directly as Musk, but Musk does use the way that system is structured to make it look like he's not one to, I don't know, fib or lie to make himself look a little bit more impressive than he actually is, But him becoming a trillionaire or even having trillionaires, yeah, I'd say there's a problem in just even getting to the point of having trillionaires. You'd know that the distribution system is already broken if it's allowing that much money to go to select few individuals. Our system of distribution that we have set up in capitalism is not working right now.
I would be interested in hearing thoughts on, like, he's a trillionaire because of SpaceX's valuation at 2.2 trillion. The company loses money, and it's based off revenue, so just how much they spend, and it's still a multiple that makes no sense. It's not real money.
And that's the point too. If you look at like Elon's companies, a lot of them are like multiplied by like 30 for no reason. And he's like doing these like 30 multipliers for like future setting. It's like, oh yeah, in 5 years we'll have made this much. No, the company's not going to have made that much. What's strange is that banks are letting him get away with it.
But he's not doing that. The market is. Like, people are paying it.
Doesn't the market control that?
Yeah, that's a complete market.
No. Elon Musk controls in the board of Tesla or whatever it is, control stocks. Yes, they do.
No.
They control how many get put out. They control if they get split. I promise you.
They control that, but they don't control the price.
They don't control the price, but if you can control,
that determines his wealth. He owns 10% of Tesla and 38 of SpaceX.
Okay, just do this. Just do a favor. Go and look at Tesla's stock market valuation, and then look at their revenue. And if you're going to,
I 100% agree. The market has priced Tesla at 1.2 trillion, which is way over the value that you could.
Since we're talking about his wealth today, I want to go through in detail. I'll read this, and then we can bring Scott and everyone back in. Just like what determines Elon Musk's wealth, right? It's a good question for today. So the major drivers of Musk's wealth is, of course, Tesla stock, the biggest factor.
SpaceX
historically, no, it's number 2. So
no, it's not.
Well,
not today.
Well, let's see.
It's not even close. So you better get an updated thing.
Let's see.
It's 800 billion.
You could be right. Let's see this. Historically, Tesla has been a single largest contributor to Musk's net worth. If Musk owns roughly 12 to 13% of Tesla and Tesla's market value rises by 100 billion, Musk's stake increases by roughly 12 to 13 billion on paper. Conversely, if Tesla's stock falls, his wealth can decline dramatically. This is why his net worth can swing by tens of billions of dollars in a single day. SpaceX valuations. Because SpaceX is privately held, its value is determined through private funding rounds and secondary share sales. If investors agree SpaceX is worth $100 billion, Musk's stake is worth one amount, $300 billion. The value of his stake roughly triples. No public market exists to price it every second, but private investors periodically reset its valuation.
But it IPO today, so it is public.
You're saying that, and what did you say the number was? Sorry, I used to call you Simba, but that's not your name anymore. Curtis.
Well, my real name's Curtis.
Okay.
So SpaceX went public today, trading at close at 2.1 trillion. He owes 38% of it and 82% of the voting shares. So the 38% of 2.1 trillion is by far, which is why he became a trillionaire on the day of the IPO.
Right. So let me get a more up-to-date thing here. Thank you. Okay, here we go. SpaceX is being valued by the public markets at approximately 2.1 trillion, like you were saying, right? Following its historic IPO. The numbers: IPO price $135 per share, capital raised approximately $75 billion, initial IPO valuation of about 1.75, 1.8 trillion. First day trading surge, shares rose roughly 19 to 20%. Current market valuation about 2.1 trillion. At around 2.1 trillion, SpaceX immediately entered the ranks of the most valuable companies in the world. What does this actually mean? It does not mean SpaceX has 2.1 trillion in cash. Rather, market value equals share price times total shares outstanding. Investors are collectively saying we believe the future profits and strategic importance of SpaceX justify paying this amount today. The valuation reflects expectations about several businesses: launch services, Falcon 9, Starship, Starlink internet subscriptions, government and NASA contracts, future global communications infrastructure, AI initiatives integrated into the companies, Musk's long-term vision of Mars colonization. Is 2.1 trillion justified? That depends on whom you ask. Bulls are SpaceX dominates reusable rockets. Starlink has a massive global lead. Space access could become a multi-trillion-dollar industry. Musk repeatedly achieves what others thought impossible. Bears argue, they're doing the bulls and bears comparison here. The company remains unprofitable by traditional metrics. The valuation assumes extraordinary future growth. Investors may be pricing in decades of success today. Execution risks remain enormous. As one analyst noted, SpaceX may need to grow at rates that no company in history has sustained to fully justify such a valuation. What is Musk's stake worth? Reports indicate Musk owns roughly 38% of the economic interest of SpaceX while retaining outsized voting control through special share structures. At a 2.1 trillion valuation, a 38% stake would be worth approximately 798 billion US dollars before taxes, liquidity discounts, and other adjustments. That enormous increase in paper wealth is what pushed Elon Musk above the $1 trillion net worth threshold after the IPO. The deeper point, a 2.1 trillion valuation is not simply a measure of what SpaceX is today. It is a measure of what millions of investors collectively believe SpaceX might become. In other words, SpaceX valuation is a price placed on humanity's confidence in the future of rocket satellites, AI, and the possibility that one company could become the backbone of multi-planetary civilization. So I think that was that, there are two sides to the view of this. And I think, Scott, you and Curtis were accurately depicting this. Yeah.
Now, the interesting thing here, and I don't think many people know this, is Elon's pay package at SpaceX is tied to a single goal. He has to have 1 million people on Mars. That's in the filing. So that's if he does it, great. But that's a pretty major.
1 million people on Mars by when?
No date.
No date. Just he has to get.
He has to be alive, I guess. I don't know. Like, that seems to me to be so extreme. Like, he has to have so much confidence. Maybe he does do it, But it's like, look this up because people don't even realize this is in the filing. 1 million inhabitants on Mars, self-sustained city.
Let me see.
And then the terawatt a year too. That's the other trench, but that seems easier. With terawatt being double what the U.S. uses as a whole right now, he has to do it every year. Like, these are insane things for him to get his pay
The
packages.
1 million inhabitants on Mars issue is arguably the single biggest criticism of Elon Musk's long-term vision. The issue is this: can SpaceX realistically establish a self-sustaining Martian civilization of 1 million people? SpaceX itself states establishing a self-sufficient city on Mars will require upwards of 1 million people and millions of tons of cargo. Musk has repeatedly argued that humanity needs a self-sustaining city on Mars so civilization can survive on Earth if Earth suffers a catastrophe. But experts point to enormous problems, the logistics problems. Okay, we're familiar with those. The self-sufficiency problems, the radiation problem, the gravity problem, the economics
all of this
problem,
has to be
the
overcome
governance problem.
for his additional
1
pay.
million? It does all that. The experts are divided on this. There are some experts that agree that it's. See, this is the problem when people say, "Yeah, my expert opinion is that it's possible." Motherfucker, I don't want to know if it's possible or not. I want to know if it's slightly plausible to any reasonable degree that this can happen. I'm not saying that it can't happen. Like realistically, you can do it. We have the technology to do it, but it's like the time and resources to do it. We're talking like what is I want to know this. What is the expected estimated cost of the 1 million?
Unknown.
But just the fact that he tied pay to it, like, he accepted that deal.
Yeah.
So he needs to do that. Fair enough. Good
The
for him if
estimated
he
cost
does.
of putting 1 million people on Mars ranges from about
Exactly.
So you can do this. So you can you can do this with cardboard boxes for 100 billion, or you can do it properly for around 100 trillion, right? And
Yeah.
what is the current?
Could you imagine SpaceX's value if he does it?
Well, yeah, if right. How much
But his
money
pay's tied
does-
to it.
Yeah, I think Elon might be smart on this one though, because I doubt he really cares about people on Mars. I think he's starting SpaceX as a mining company. He's going to get up there and start claiming asteroids. And yeah, and there's $1 trillion worth of goods up there.
Actually, that's fucking true, man. Like, if once you start mining asteroids, like.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude. Well, all of a sudden, like if you get a gold rich asteroid, right?
Well, you destroy the value of gold. It no longer
Right.
becomes rare.
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem with it.
I would be.
No, but there would be other
Gold
things.
or diamonds or
Diamonds,
just about
yeah.
anything. Water.
yeah.
Right
I
now,
mean, just
the-
imagine bringing water back for a desert, you know.
Something we're going to have to bring back is going to be helium, because we are running out and we do not produce any more helium. We will have to go off of this earth to get helium.
So here's
Off this
here's the thing. If all humanity got together and started pooling the money, right, to invest in this, and build towards this, 1 million person city on Mars, the global GDP in 2026 is approximately between 115 and 120 trillion, right?
Yeah.
We're looking at to do this properly. It's looking like 100 trillion US dollars, but including but including like how.
But you also have to take into account that he's planning Starship 3, version 3, to cost $50,000 a launch, which changes the cost completely.
Oh, dude, his
Well-
estimates though, right?
I agree,
Look
but
at
I
his, look at his track. Hang on. Look at his track record, right? Of saying we're going to do this by this date, and
His
being
dates are wrong,
absolutely
I agree.
confident, and every single time they're wrong. Every single time, they're just not achievable in anything like the time frame that he's talking about. Right,
I
and
agree.
on the basis of that, he's inflated the prices of his companies.
Yeah. I mean, that's
And
not.
like, okay, fair enough. Like, it's a good business strat. I get you. But Starlink, he was promising four trips to Mars with payloads, right? By 2023, I think it was. He said that was going to start happening, and all he's done is take a banana to low Earth orbit.
Every investor knows that Elon time. It's not that it won't happen. It won't happen on time. He was never going to land rockets. He was never going to do hundreds of launches a year 10 years ago when he said he would do it in 2.
Yeah, but there again, like he also said he was going to have a new Tesla sports car out, and he took how many? $2.5 million or $1 billion? I can't remember the exact amount.
And knowing all this,
still no Tesla car.
Yeah, knowing all this, Simon.
Easy thing. That's it. He already has the technology to go and do that straight away.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with this more. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
You've got to learn how to read leaves in bones, and then you can understand Elon's methods.
Yeah, you got to read his mind, read the tea leaves. But here's an interesting thing, though. As much as anyone who's going to shove a pile of fucking money into Elon Musk businesses and hopes and dreams, they know damn well before you invest in 100 million, SpaceX stock, that these projections are, like Curtis was saying, Elon Musk projections, right? The time scales here. So people in knowing this are still risking their quan, right?
Dude, do you guys know what preferred lenders are or preferred investors are?
Yep.
Like for instance, investors, but the people who go out and buy the stock, nope.
They're accredited investors.
What's that? No, I mean like preferred
accredited.
Investors. It's people who get paid back first. Say the company goes.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. Preferred shares, not preferred investors. Preferred shares. Gotcha.
So the realistic. Sorry. Go ahead. Yeah. I just wanted to read this out because this is pretty interesting. So if the question is, if we had the 100 trillion together, the cash to do this, right? An alien shows up with 100 trillion. Like, yeah, fine, have your fucking million. But I'm just putting the money down and I'm getting the fuck out of here. The question is, how much time would it take if everyone got behind this Mars City project? So with 100 trillion, these are the basic estimates that some experts have slapped together. The first human base, it's going to take about 10 to 20 years.
Yeah.
Small city, 30 to 50 years from now. 1 million people on Mars, probably 70 to 150 plus years. Truly self-sustaining civilization, likely 300 plus years. So money helps enormously, but it does not solve the scale, like the scale of this fucking dream, right? It's fucking like we're talking a lot of time and energy before like, I mean, like, don't get me wrong, in 20 years from now, if we have the first human base on Mars, I'm going to be so fucking interested, and I hope it's broadcast to the world 24/7. I would be so addicted to that stream. Like, I mean,
what about the moon?
It's going to kill all the other streamers. Yeah, the moon too. But like, the Mars, bigger deal than the moon for me.
Yeah. But living on the moon.
Yeah,
a base on the moon. That's pretty.
Yeah, that's cool.
We'll probably be walking from the moon to get to Mars at that point, just to save energy.
Yeah. But yeah, like, I mean, imagine that in 20 years we have, a person or a couple people living on the one base on Mars. Like, that's going to kill all the other live streamers, because I feel like that's going to be the dominant, kind of like Truman Show.
Well, this guy's pegged his pay to 1 million people living on Mars. So,
I mean, like 1 million people living on Mars. I think you're going to have terraforming by that point. We're not going to have terraforming within a couple hundred years. Like, and once we do, we're going to terraform this planet before we do any other planet. That's a guarantee.
Then he won't get his pay for SpaceX.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like I don't. It's a.
I don't think
That-
he's
that
short
is
on
a
cash.
trend.
I don't think he's short on cash, so I don't think he's.
No, he's not. He's not short
Yeah.
on cash at all. But that's not the point. It's just that he has these ambitions that he believes in so much that he will tie his pay to it. He really believes it. And if you don't believe him, fine. But he does. I really believe he believes he can do it.
I would just like to be interested in knowing how much human suffering could be avoided with like 1/5 of that
Yeah.
much.
Of course.
Like
Yeah,
how
yeah.
many-
Yeah.
How much human suffering could be avoided? How many people? How many few less people would die of starvation in the next 20 years with just even a portion of that money?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
I think that every one of all the suffering like that is going to amount to that doesn't necessarily make it worth all of that suffering.
yeah,
That-
no,
Well,
I agree that there are, when we're looking at the projections of what a project like this would take, I don't think we're anywhere near being able to take on a project of that size. Now, the first
projections are off.
The first steps of it, putting people on Mars, having a little colony on Mars, or at least some people on Mars, right? This is a huge feat. This is a doable feat. This is something that I believe is going to be accomplished probably by Elon Musk within the next 20 years. I do believe that. But this is Elon Musk again doing the Elon Musk thing, doing his own project. Do I think governments should start carving away money to put towards this, $100 trillion million person city? I think that would be just quite simply. I think that would be retarded, purely retarded. We have too many social issues that we have to take care of here. Too many issues, too many well-being issues. But I could see, with the advent of automation and then as an extension, global automation, really assisting us with some of the depravity and unequalness of how people are asked to live on this planet. I could see us, once we get to a certain stage of thriving, once we have thriving happening all around the world, which we're nowhere close, but once we have that, then I could see okay, everyone is thriving now. Now what? Maybe automation has cleared up a lot of time for us. What are some of the big projects? Maybe floated at the level of the United Nations, where all nations get a say in this. Like, what are some unified human projects we're interested in working on? I'm sure the populating Mars and space travel will be of something of much deeper interest at that time, that era of thriving, than it is right now.
I completely agree, and I think when they're saying about how many lives you can save, like the U.S. government does 70 billion a year in humanitarian aid. So there is someone doing this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Elon's doing this privately himself. He really believes that humanity needs 2 planets. Catastrophic events can happen. He has these beliefs. So he thinks he's doing what's good.
yeah, they can happen, but statistically,
Agreed.
one of them happening within the next 1,000 years is like nothing, right? It's like zero, right? And in 1,000 years from now, we're going to be on Mars. We're going to be on the moon. We're going to be out there.
I think it'll be far sooner.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying, imagine 1,000 years from now. Imagine 1,000 years from now.
I'm not
Can I-
disagreeing
can I-
with you, but this is his thoughts.
Yeah,
Can I say something about
yeah, of course.
Yeah, okay. So I think since the 70s, Europe has been working on this kind of issue. And, they came, or there was a conclusion that the countries came to, which was that the only way we were going to get some kind of massive technological advance that was going to allow, the globe to really change its economic model to the point where it was going to be a significant bonus for everybody on the planet, was to work on new models of energy. Right, we have to stop polluting our atmosphere. We have to do all of these other things, and they started working on fusion energy back then. And there's, in the last, I don't know, 30, 40 years, there's been very little progress. There has been progress. They have got tokamak reactors to produce a very small amount of beneficial energy, or energy out over energy in.
Have you been following China, Simos, with regards to
Yes,
fusion?
a little bit,
Man,
yes.
I love China's building these mini suns. That is basically what they call them.
They do, yeah.
But they don't. They obviously only. They're measuring it by seconds of how long that they're able to function for. But yeah, I'm really interested in the artificial suns that are being built in East China. Yeah.
So, I mean, like I say, I think that, if Elon, instead of trying to put bodies or flesh into space, which is just a ridiculous thing to do given AI and the technology that is currently being developed, if he were to actually concentrate on something which was, well developed already, he wouldn't be able to make money out of it the same way. That's the downside, right? Because his business model, it seems to me, is switching money between companies in order to generate sales prices, and that's a well-trodden path for businesses, right? Like large corporations are more interested in their share price than they are interested in their profits at the end of the year. And that's because most of the value of the company is based on share price, not on how much profit they're making. SpaceX has lost money continuously for the last God knows how many years in the terms of billions, but because its estimated wealth on the share price is so high, it doesn't really matter as long as people are prepared to invest. But that's the same thing as the housing market, right? And those do alternatively go through crashes, right? He paid and inflated the price of Twitter, right, by paying so much for it, well over its market value. And now it's above its market value in share price.
Right.
Okay, so
he made most of the money not by making Twitter profitable, but just by inflating the share prices, by buying it at such a high price, and then making it, sacking lots of people and to generate at least so it could keep operating at a reasonable price until the share price is increased again. And that's a good business model. I'm not saying that he's not a savvy businessman. He understands markets well. But like I said, given the fact that he promises so much in these businesses and then delivers so little, Tesla being a really good example, where he's promised lots of new vehicles which he's never delivered, and when he does, they're substandard, like the truck. Okay, and people have been generally ripped off. Right, if you buy a Tesla truck, you're just buying a dud. You're not actually getting anything for it other than maybe some short-term status symbol. And that's okay. There's a lot of rich people to sell to, so that's fine. But I'm just saying he's not delivering on the promises that he makes in terms of what a normal business would do to make money, which is to take a product and make it successful.
But why do you think,
not his business model.
Simos, why do you think he continues to dominate in the car sales market, for example? There's obviously, and in different products, right? Like there are products being generated by his.
What?
Well, I mean,
doesn't dominate the truck market.
No, but in the that's where he's not dominating. But I can look it up, see where the Tesla.
Oh, those have been the two latest.
I can tell you I can tell you everything on the Tesla.
Those have been the two latest models, haven't they? So the
Model Y was the latest model.
The Cybertruck.
The Model Y is the latest.
Which is what exactly?
It's the best-selling car in the world of any car.
So that's
3 years.
Upgrade of the one that's already been developed, right?
The Model Y.
That's the upgrade.
No. The Model Y is number 3 to the Toyota Corolla and the Toyota RAV4.
Yeah.
I would double check your numbers. They just came out.
I got it right here. Yeah, this is as of.
The Tesla has never been the
Also,
number
if
one
you go to
selling
Japanese
model.
electric vehicles, I think you'll find them far more efficient and cheaper than a Tesla.
What about 2017?
Americans are very gung ho on being patriotic, and I don't blame them for that or anything like that. That's not the issue I'm bringing. But the two
Have you been in a Tesla?
three models. No, I've never been in a Tesla.
Okay.
Three models. Have you ever been in a Japanese electric car?
Have I ever been in a Japanese electric car? Yeah. Like a Toyota?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so Toyota is still winning as of 2026 sales data today. Tesla Model Y as of 2026 is in second.
2026. I don't know. I'm talking
Okay.
full model years, like 2023, 2024. Yeah, 2026. I'm not sure
Okay, what
because they don't release the numbers till the end of
what
the year.
about
The final
for
numbers.
the last
Yeah,
20
He's
years?
also been promising higher numbers than he's been able to produce as well. But
Well,
again, like I'm
you
just
can look
saying,
at
What
final
about
years.
the what about the
this is
positive
a business
Simos
model, right? This
Simos
is-
what about
sorry.
the Simos what about the positive utility lensing though on this? Like what are the positive things generated by Elon Musk and his companies?
Could I tell you a stat? You can fact check this?
Wait, Curtis. Let's let Simon.
Yeah,
answer.
I find it difficult because I think he's quick to market. If you want something positive, he is quick to market. I'll give him that. So he saw, like Richard Branson did, he sees an opportunity, right, and then gets a product in there, like Amstrad, right? Amstrad was really quick to market with a very cheap PC. Just turned out it was shit.
Right.
Right, but he got in there first and made a lot of money because he was there first. Not in terms of producing a PC, but just a very cost-effective PC, right? So a lot of people can afford with mass production. It just turned out his hard drives were substandard. But and I think that's a good thing. But this idea of inflating companies to give high share prices, right? I think that's his business model.
Right.
And he does it very well. I'm not saying that, but if you go through the track record of how he's gone through businesses to do this, right? Over-promising and under-delivering is one of his things. And like you say, Curtis said earlier, that if you don't understand that about Elon Musk and his businesses, then more fool you for investing. Right? But unfortunately, it works because the share prices go up because that's what he concentrates on.
And then he sells it.
Right? Doesn't concentrate on the models, right? So that Tesla truck is an absolute fucking disgrace. He said he was going to get like the big trucks, whatever you call them, lorries we call them in this country. They were supposed to be delivered like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
There's no sign of those at all. The ones that have been built have just broken down and have been quite dreadful. And he's asked for investment in those. Right? He's actually has pre-sales for them, which I think is not a moral thing to do if you have no intention of delivering it, right? Or no ability to deliver it even. He might have had the intention, right? And that's my issue with Musk is he has intentions, but rarely does he listen to people long enough to actually find out whether they're practical or utilitarian.
So global, just talking about the products themselves, because Simon, you've been laying out some critiques here about the products. Tesla vehicles overall in general, based on expert opinions when it comes to their technical rating, like if we're looking at like a out of 5-star rating, they generally get a 4 out of 5-star rating, which compared to other vehicle companies is average to high. So medium to high rating overall based on what I'm looking at here. Yeah. What do you think about that? Because
I think that you can. I don't think that technically putting a battery in a car is that difficult, right? If you look at the Japanese, model, right? They have invested billions and billions into this, obviously as well. They have like many different types. They have hybrids. They have pure electric cars. They have hydrogen cars. They have all sorts of different types because they've invested in the technology to try and develop these things. And they're all for sale, right? They're all 100% legit models. So I just think that I don't think it's difficult for that particular model, and especially as it was first to market. That's my main point. It was very quick to market.
Yeah.
Is it what do they call that first Tesla that came out?
The Roadster.
Roadster.
No, it's not a Roadster because that's a sports car, isn't it? That's the one he
That was the
didn't
first.
make.
That was the first one he made. The
Oh, is that the
Roadster.
one? Okay.
And then he made the Model S. It was a luxury car.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess
anyway,
I guess what I'm
Have a
getting
look at the Roadster.
I guess what I'm
Yeah.
getting at, Simos, you're talking about like product promises and delivery. It's just to me, based on what I'm seeing, like expert analysis, like it's not getting perfect scores, of course, but it, like, compared to other vehicle companies, like not that bad and slightly better than a lot of established companies. So I guess if someone was to take what you were saying about them, it would paint a pretty grim picture of Tesla vehicles in general. But I don't think the experts would agree with you on that, from
No,
like
I'm
a
not saying
technical
that
perspective.
I'm not
Yeah.
saying that his most successful model, right, which
Yeah.
is the Model S, I guess, or something like that,
Probably, yeah.
Model Y.
isn't a good car, right?
Mm.
I think that's not my
Fair
point.
enough.
My point is since then he's proposed 3 other cars,
I see.
all right, to upgrade the range and try and compete with what people are doing in other countries, especially Japan and some in Europe as well, which have really jumped on. Audi have some very successful electric cars. And the point being here is that they've been able to progress their models and their development right through the use of large investment into doing these things. And that has not been happening with Tesla. In fact, like I say, he's been promising a certain number of Tesla in order to justify the economic spend on his cars, and he hasn't been able to deliver because there are practical problems with making trucks out of batteries. It's just not. It's not a sensible
Ford.
thing to be doing right now because of the weight of batteries actually turns out to be larger than the weight of the payload that you're going to take.
Have you seen the Ford Thunders though? Those are pretty badass.
I haven't, no.
Oh, yeah, they're pretty badass. I got to ride around in one, and they're like crazy powerful. And I don't know exactly what Ford did.
Electrics are, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what Ford did to.
Are you talking about the Ford Lightning?
Or sorry, the Ford Lightning. I always call it the Ford.
Yeah,
Thunder.
that's okay. Yeah.
Ford Lightning. Yeah, Ford Lightning. Yeah, and it looks like when it comes to overall technical rating, SpaceX and Starlink are the highest rated companies from a pure technical perspective. Obviously, SpaceX has the financial issue, but like from a technical rating, it's getting a very high rating for I guess probably.
Well, I don't know who's giving it that
technical-
rating if all they can do is deliver a banana to low Earth orbit.
No,
NASA have rockets that go to the moon. I mean, Musk has got nowhere close.
That's not true at all.
Okay,
The largest orbit was just done recently, outside of the moon, with a Falcon Heavy rocket.
Falcon 9.
The Roadster he sent into orbit orbits the sun. That was the one he did.
Sure.
that
Anything
took-
in orbit obviously does that, but yeah.
well, I know, but when you say the distance has any, once you're in orbit, distance doesn't matter.
That was funny. I'm not laughing at what you're saying, Curtis. It's just the idea of something orbiting the sun. Like if you breach our atmosphere, you're orbiting the sun, right?
Well, I
we're
guess
already
that's
orbiting
fine.
the sun.
It's
There are
orbiting the sun
literally
outside of the Earth.
all
I'm just being
Teslas
retarded.
orbit
I'm just
sun.
being
No, I
retarded.
completely get. I completely get what you're saying. That's funny.
It's just funny.
Yeah, no, it's all right. I'm just
But
So
the
SpaceX,
technologically, I can tell you.
Keep it light. That's my.
I want to qualify what the technical rating is here. So SpaceX gets a high technical rating because it didn't merely build good rockets, it changed what engineers thought was economically and operationally possible. If you asked aerospace engineers in the early 2000s what SpaceX would accomplish by the mid-2020s, many would have said it was unrealistic. Here are the main reasons. Reusable rockets actually worked. Before SpaceX, rockets were essentially disposable. Imagine flying from Mexico to Canada. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, SpaceX developed Falcon 9
that's another
so that
promise he
its
made as well, yeah.
first stage boosters could re-enter the atmosphere, navigate autonomously, land vertically, be inspected and reused repeatedly. This dramatically reduced launch costs. The first successful orbit-class booster landing occurred in 2015. Since then, some Falcon 9 boosters have flown 20 or more missions, an achievement that was once considered nearly impossible. It drove down the cost of space access. So historically, launching payloads into orbit costs enormous sums of money. SpaceX forced the industry to rethink pricing. Approximate launch prices, so era versus typical cost per launch. So traditional heavy launch providers, that era, would cost hundreds of millions of dollars. So the Falcon 9 is roughly $60 to $70 million list price. Falcon 9 rideshare missions, even lower per satellite. The important point isn't just that SpaceX was cheaper, it was that it was reliably cheaper, allowing customers to plan around frequent launches. Then the extraordinary launch cadence. A rocket isn't useful if it flies once every few years. SpaceX transformed launch operations into something closer to industrial manufacturing. The company now conducts launches at a pace that exceeds many national space programs combined. It has repeatedly set annual launch records. Engineers often point to cadence as evidence of maturity, high flight rate, consistent performance, operational discipline. Dragon ended America dependence on Russia. So after the retirement of the space shuttle, the United States relied on Russia's Soyuz to transport astronauts to the International Space Station. SpaceX's Crew Dragon changed that. It became the first privately developed spacecraft to carry astronauts to orbit, the first commercial vehicle to provide regular crew transports to the ISS. International Space Station. This represents a major technical and institutional milestone. Vertical integration. Most aerospace companies rely heavily on complex supplier networks. SpaceX manufactures a remarkable amount of its own hardware internally: engines, avionics, structures, software, fairings, satellites. This allows faster iteration, lower costs, better coordination between teams. The software engineers can work directly with propulsion engineers and manufacturing specialists in ways that are difficult in fragmented organizations. Rapid iteration. Traditional aerospace culture often emphasizes caution and long development cycles. SpaceX adopted a philosophy closer to Silicon Valley: build, test, fail, improve, repeat. The Starship program illustrates this approach, multiple prototypes exploding during testing, but each provided data that informed the next design. Supporters see this as efficient engineering. Critics argue it can appear reckless. Even many critics, however, acknowledge that the pace of iteration has accelerated development. Just a couple more things. Or the Merlin and Raptor engines. Rocket engines are among the most demanding machines humans build. The Merlin engine powering Falcon 9 became known for reliability, ease of manufacture, and frequent reuse. The Raptor engine introduced full flow stage combustion, methane fuel, extremely high chamber pressures. Only a handful of organizations have successfully developed engines in this class. And then there's this section, why experts still criticize SpaceX. A high technical rating does not mean perfection. Common criticisms include aggressive timelines, Starship test failures, workplace culture concerns, environmental concerns around launch activity, concentration of influence in a private company. These criticisms are real, but they generally concern governance, management, or policy rather than the underlying engineering competence. So I just wanted to get that into the record.
Okay.
The one you said on the Raptor 3, that technology is so advanced, it's a national security thing. Like, no company can compete with that rocket because the Raptor 3 shouldn't exist. Like, it was theoretically not even possible until it happened. In fact, who was it? Launch Labs, I think, when they put a picture of it, he goes, why would you put a picture of an incomplete rocket and say it's the full one? Like, what he's doing doesn't make sense from a technological.
So it says no. Raptor 3 itself was not considered literally impossible by the laws of physics, but many experienced rocket engineers thought. I'm not saying you said that. But many experienced rocket engineers thought that, and we'll go to Simos after this if he has something like that. Rocket engineers thought that the combination of compatibilities it achieved was practically impossible or so difficult that it wasn't worth attempting. So yeah, there's some serious innovation and I think trailblazing here. But yeah, go ahead, Silas. Yeah.
Okay, well, I think innovation might be too strong a word. All of the technology is quite old that he uses, other than the the gimbals and the AI to land the thing, which is obviously only about because computing power has become A, very cheap, and B, doable in that sense. That
But it is on
the speed of computing has increased so fast that it can now handle gimbals and really very technical, demanding classical mechanics, like balancing of things. So that is impressive. There's no doubt about that. But as for propulsion, of course, he uses old technologies, right? So I could be wrong.
I mean, experts do consider this.
He just uses hydrogen oxygen combustion.
I mean,
think he actually uses higher energy density fuels like kerosene.
Methane.
And kerosene.
Methane and oxygen. The Raptor 3 is the most advanced engine. I don't really think
Falcon
you're looking
9?
at the right engine. No, this is a
Falcon
Raptor 3. No. Starship.
Falcon 9. I'm
Starship.
referring to the Falcon 9.
Oh, well, that's a decade-old technology, yeah.
Yeah, and that's the one he uses for Starlink, and
Correct.
the one
yeah.
that you said can carry payloads into space.
Yeah. Well, Starship can
Okay,
as well, but yes.
So that uses kerosene.
Yes.
Right now,
So, yeah.
I think his current version that he's been testing now for some years, that keeps having these propulsion failures in particular rockets. He uses so many rockets that it's very difficult to get all of them to work precisely, correctly at the right times with the right boosts, etc. And it only needs one to be off by a very small amount in order to cause catastrophes, as
But
we've seen.
yeah.
And that failure thing is fine because we're not sending people yet, right? So that model that you were referring to is absolutely fine, Travis, right? Because it's just a big explosion in space. And that's in the air, in the atmosphere, and that's okay. No one's dying from it as such.
Yeah.
But I have my doubts that maybe a longer, rather than just failing all the time, maybe a longer in between period where you redesign the boost of these rockets to be either more reliable or more consistent, right? And that is the big problem with liquid fuels, right? To get a consistent burn is just very, very technically challenging.
But in the defense of the Raptor 3, because you were questioning the innovation, I mean, I just looked up like a good collection of opinions from industry experts, and they consider it a major innovation, not just like something that's been slapped together.
I wasn't addressing that at all. I was addressing what is actually got payloads into space currently. And if that works, that's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. And when he can start getting payloads into space with the rockets that he's currently generating, then that's fine. I'll take that. And if he's using just liquid oxygen or liquid methane and oxygen, then that's great. That means he's not polluting the planet while he's doing this, because kerosene is a terrible. That's what the airlines use, isn't it?
It would be interesting.
It's not good for our planet.
If you go to SpaceX.com and just watch the last flight of Starship when they put up a payload of Starship with the dummy satellites. So exact replica satellites that go up. And if you've never watched one, they use Starlink. So you get live feed of everything. You get to see them deploy into space. Like, it's really incredible to watch. It's about a half-hour launch. So worth it.
Okay. I was unaware of that. The last one I saw which worked and actually got to low Earth orbit was the one with the banana in it.
Yeah, that was a while ago. But yes,
it was a while ago. Up till then, I've watched like 5 since, and they've all exploded in Earth's atmosphere. Again, it's extremely challenging to do to get a burn on a rocket with liquid fuel. It's
100%.
Just,
look back
how
at
NASA did it in the 60s, I have absolutely no idea.
No, they didn't. They didn't go to the moon. It was a conspiracy.
And of course, reusable, right? Well, of course, the shuttle was reusable. with only very few failures, of course. So, like, that's not new technology either, as such, challenging as it was.
Then why has no one else done it? If
Because it's extremely challenging, and there's
Yeah.
no, the demand for it is so highly specialized, right? Putting satellites into Earth's orbit, low Earth orbit, of that is a limited
you don't think
market.
China has a demand for that?
Well, China's a different subject. They're spending money going to the moon. They've already been to the moon a couple of times, right? Same with India. They've, have
But
their own satellite
their cost
programs.
per launch is very high, and they keep exploding rockets trying to land them.
Right. Okay. Again, it's not. They've like photographed the dark side of the moon. They've sent satellites out there. They've
I'm not
done all
disagreeing
sorts
with
of
that.
technological things in their space, like progression.
But the landing of the rocket, I think, is pretty tough. If it's,
I don't think it is. No, I think if you get a computer and a gimbal, and you get a fast enough computer, then it can do it. I don't know if you've seen that thing of the three body problem, the computer solving the 3-body problem.
I'm aware of the three body problem. I didn't think there was a solution.
The computer has managed to balance these. Oh, it's a pendulum. Three.
The 3-body problem doesn't have a solution that I'm aware of.
Okay. Well, no. What I mean to say is it's a pendulum with with 3 arms, right? And there are various states it can balance in.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with that, but
as soon as they got the reaction time or the ability for the computer to control it within a particular, down to a particular time, nanoseconds,
fair enough.
And then it could quite easily manage and sort the problem out to balance in all 3 particular
But
modes.
SpaceX did this in 2015, and everyone's trying to replicate it.
All right. Well, unless anyone has
I'm not disputing
any,
that at all. I mean, I think I actually said it's impressive that they've managed to do that. They spent quite a bit of money doing it first before trying to launch the rockets into atmosphere, and that's fine. And like I said, he has innovation in that he's quick to market. That's why Tesla worked, I think, and became such a success. And that's really great. That's saving the planet, right? Because we need to get off fossil fuels.
Yeah,
there's a lot of things I can be positive about, right?
Now,
what I'm not positive about is his business models. Right?
Well, you keep saying he justifies. I didn't understand.
And inflating share prices by taking value away from one company to boost the share price of another.
This is what I didn't understand on that, and I'm in the markets quite deep. So, like when we say he's worth $800 billion, you could check this, Travis, but he can't access that for what, 5-10 years. So if he owns a piece of a company that he has no access to, which is the majority of his wealth, SpaceX. So I'm like,
he said he owns 38%, so he can always sell shares.
No, he can't sell shares; they're locked up.
I know.
That's what happens with an IPO. It's like even pension plans can't sell shares. I very much expect this stock will drop over the next 180 days, as the actual institutional investors are allowed to sell, which they're currently not. So right now there's a very small float, but this value is going to change. And his shares are locked up like forever.
Okay. So, like,
and when you say
you'd
he
agree
does
with
these,
me that you'd agree with me that he said he wouldn't sell X shares, right, or Twitter shares.
but this isn't he can't sell.
Hang on. Would you agree with me that he said he wouldn't and then did sell?
Okay, so say that again. Said he wouldn't sell
Twitter shares, X shares.
Twitter shares.
He rebranded them.
I wasn't aware he wasn't trying to sell them, because he did do a raise when he bought them, and sold some publicly when he
sold
the company.
Tesla shares, right? Which he said he wouldn't sell.
This isn't said though. This is in the mandate of the company. There's a difference. One's law. One's saying, I'm not going to do this and changing my mind.
But you say this is SpaceX you're now talking about. It's in the mandate of SpaceX, yeah.
Yes.
Presumably due to government, funding, right? Yeah.
No, it has nothing to do with government funding. It's the structure of the IPO to keep valuations at the price.
The IPO is a particular type of share, which is, you can't sell it on the open market?
No, the restricted shares, yeah.
The restricted shares.
Restricted for a period. And all of them are like the teachers' pension plan in Ontario. They made a small investment in SpaceX years ago, which is paying out today and going to pay a vast majority of teachers' pensions because of what happened with SpaceX. But they're locked up. Now, they're only locked up for 180 days, but
Right.
Musk is locked up far longer. So he doesn't have access.
Do you know how long for?
I think it's 5 or 10 years. And a trench of it's unlocked when he puts 1 million people on Mars. Like, there's trenches he can get around it, but they're so
I
ridiculous.
see. That's what the million is. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm not
Same
trying
with
to.
Tesla.
Sure.
Tesla,
No,
he has these ridiculous targets he has to hit. And if he doesn't, he doesn't.
Yeah, he said he'd never sell Tesla shares, right?
He
remember
does have
that.
Tesla shares he can sell, though.
Yeah, he has sold them.
Yeah, well, he just rebought it. He spent $1 billion on Tesla shares in November, but yeah, he has bought and sold them.
Okay, sounds like he is controlling the price of the shares then, or at least attempting to. But
Not even close.
anyway, look, this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying his model is, and that's fair enough. Like again,
it's not accurate to how
if
the
it's
market
legal,
works.
If it's legal,
But it's not accurate. He
how
can't.
do you mean?
Well, he can't buy and sell. Like Ron Barron will put more into Tesla. Like these index funds, Vanguard would have enough to move Tesla. He's not moving Tesla. The market is. The market decides the price, not him.
Yeah, well, I mean, you say he doesn't decide the price. I'm not saying he decides the price. He just influences the price. That's my point, right?
Well, yeah, everyone. I influence the price.
Exactly. So, like when he sold Tesla shares, the share price dropped. Right? He was
Like if
selling
I
enough
sold
of them.
Tesla shares,
In fact,
the
all
price
of
would
the,
drop.
as I understand it, most of the top people in the company, right, most of the directors were selling shares at the same time.
if they were allowed, most of them are restricted. But yes, when they come
They all
up,
sold shares.
well, yes, that's their livelihood, that's their pay.
Yeah, exactly.
That's-
Yeah. So they were
But
getting out.
that's
for
every company. That's
potential.
GM Ford. But there is something different about Tesla. Why is Tesla worth more than every other car company combined?
Well, I mean, I don't
Like, why
know.
is GM worth 30 billion and Tesla's worth
GM,
1.3
right?
trillion?
General Motors. Okay, yeah. Well, General Motors is a very old established company. If you're saying GM is Tesla, then that's another thing because GM make like
No,
other
GM's not
other
even
cars.
worth 3% of Tesla or 2% of Tesla or Toyota or any of them. Why is this company worth
Really?
massive multiples over any other company? Like, why is the market priced this in? This is the smartest money in the world. Like, these are institutional money. 33% sure are retail investors, but the rest is institutional. Why are they pricing it at this?
So yeah, Tesla's looking at a market cap of 1.6 trillion versus the next in line of Toyota, 246 billion.
Like, why is that? Why is there this massive multiple difference? It's not even close. And you can start stacking them. Do Toyotas the next. Start adding them up.
How many cars does Tesla make a year?
Well, it's the number
That's a
one
good
selling
question.
car.
That's a good
So
question.
if you look at the model, but it's not enough cars. Like Toyota will sell more. Toyota's what, 11 million, 12 million a year? But this is what I'm trying to get you to think. What is the reason? I can tell you the reason, but what do you think it is? Why is it valued so much more?
Yeah. Well, I think it has to do with the technical rating. I think the technical rating is good enough.
Well,
And,
it's Cortex.
What?
Cortex. It's not a car company.
What?
I've fallen asleep and woken up in my driveway in my Tesla. And that's because of Cortex, which is to build a supercluster for a car company is insane because it's so expensive, obviously. It's a data center.
Oh, okay.
But it's an AI company.
Oh, you're saying that's where it gets its value?
Massive value. And the tokens it gets from full self-drive. So this is a stat that I had to fact check myself because I didn't believe it. And this is why I bought my daughter a car, is Tesla drove 6 billion miles on FSD in the last 12 months. Fair. I use it all the time. I've never driven in the last year. So that makes sense to me. But 6 billion. So then I inquired how many deaths on FSD? 0. How many deaths on the average US driver? 1 in 80 million. So 80 people are alive statistically because of FSD. And I've experienced it. It's avoided accidents that wouldn't have been the Tesla's fault. People rear-ending, how it reacts is unbelievable. But that technology is invaluable. Those tokens, all the experience it has.
Is
No other car
FSD?
company has it.
I'm trying to think
Full
because
self-
Don
full
and I,
self-drive.
yeah, I know it's full self drive, but Don and I were in Phoenix, and we were being picked
Yeah.
up by a full self driving. It wasn't a Tesla; it was a
Waymos.
Jaguar. Yeah, Waymos.
Yeah,
And
Waymos.
dude, those rides were so smooth and
I know,
relaxing, and it was pretty
it
cool.
is, like it does corners perfectly.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
He's taken over the Middle East.
Yeah, it was it was pretty fun. So yeah, obviously that technology helps a lot. Now, what are the other car companies doing to compete with that technology?
Nothing.
Really? Well,
No,
let's see.
the Ford is going to try to license Tesla. I think they'll be the first. So Tesla has put out all the parameters to add cameras to any car, to all the dealerships, and that's recently. And they said we will license the software because the cost is so restrictive. So
I wonder
Google
what the
is going to
patents.
partner.
I
too.
wonder what the patents are like on like the best full self-driving technology, like, and how hard it
Yeah.
is to get around those patents. To like,
You're only going to
create-
get massive, like Google is Waymo, right?
Yeah.
So Google has the money to compete.
Yeah.
But they're going to license too, which they obviously did. So you're going to have these massive data centers going at each other, but that's who Tesla's competing with, not car companies.
I'm just looking up some more. I'm interested.
It is super interesting. Like I'm,
So everyone's trying to compete with Tesla, but they're taking different approaches. Tesla's strategy is unusual. Most competitors think Tesla's either brilliantly right or dangerously wrong. Tesla's vision-only AI uses primarily cameras, trains, neural networks using billions of miles of fleet data. Yeah, okay. The strengths: massive fleet data advantage, continuous software improvement, works on almost any road without pre-mapping. Weakness: no sensor redundancy from LiDAR. Regulatory skepticism, human supervision still required. General Motors is looking at Super Cruise. GM
that was canceled.
chose, is it?
It was actually Ultra Cruise, but they canceled it.
Well, it's saying Super Cruise here. So there's a new one.
Super Cruise is a cruise control, but it's not full self-drive.
Okay, okay, but you said Super Cruise was canceled.
I assumed you meant Ultra Cruise because Super Cruise is just cruise control. It's
Oh,
like
okay,
Blue
gotcha.
Cruise. It can't do anything, can't do all the full self-drive stuff. So it can't stop at a light or all that stuff. It can't do 100% of the drive. But on a highway, it can like go in between lanes.
Cannot do city driving like Tesla FSD.
Yeah.
That's its weakness.
And that's the definitive factor for me. I won't let my daughter drive. I bought her a Model 3.
You won't let your daughter drive?
Yeah.
Well, that's a topic.
The car-
different.
The car drives so much better than I do that I'm paranoid of her getting an accident. So I got her a Model 3. That's your car. You can do whatever you want. But it drives.
Yeah, that will be the future. It's going to be like iRobot, man. Everybody just jumps in their like car that's just going to drive you somewhere.
Man, Scott, like when Don and I were like that, I was like, I honestly said after my first ride with a Waymo that this is the most relaxed I've ever been as a passenger in my life.
Yep.
I've never been that relaxed. I've never been that relaxed. I honestly haven't.
It does the car, like going around a corner. Just imagine every corner is perfectly, just so it's not too fast, not too slow. In between lines, perfect. Like everything's perfect.
You know what it felt like being on? It felt like being on a train. Like trains, I feel like trains, just the way they take corners. Like I'm talking about the nicer trains. Like it's like super smooth. Like some of the trains in Europe that I've been on, it just felt like super smooth. The motion was like gradual and at the right speed. And yeah.
Dude, for those fast ones, man, they'll go to a 45-degree angle on you. Like you're fucking the whole cart is just angled at a 45-degree, and it's just pressing you down. You're going so fast, feels like you're standing straight up.
Yeah, the acceleration is insane.
Yep.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Absolutely.
Mercedes-Benz. Oh, sorry.
Because
Go
of
ahead,
torque, isn't
Simon.
it?
Yeah.
Well, that's because of torque demands from electric engines. But
Works only under narrow conditions. Oh yeah, this is the Mercedes Drive Pilot. Only works under narrow conditions. This is what I wanted
That's like
to
the Blue
see.
Cruise too.
Well, yeah, Ford Blue Cruise.
It works in the
Geofenced highways only, no city autonomy. Yeah. So yeah,
But the difference
is, I think you are right. Like a lot of experts are agreeing with you that the Tesla like FSD is the thing that's causing this massive gap between it and other car companies' evaluation.
What's the time frame on that IP though? I think with electronics and stuff like this, it's like 7 years.
The problem is it's proprietary. Like the training data is their training data. So anyone could go out and get it, but you have to get 11 billion. They said the number was 10 billion to really get it to work and outperform any human, which it absolutely does. But you have to get it in a lot of cars and a lot of people have to drive. It's a lot of miles. And it took them 7 years.
FSD driving record comparing.
It could take them 7 years, but it can
be very specific in the last 12 months. Because the new software keeps updating.
Yeah, I'm just
and 2 years
curious
ago was
overall.
a different drive.
Yeah, I'm just curious overall, and then yeah, we can. Yeah, FSD is experiences approximately one crash every 5.94 million miles. The average U.S. driver experiences approximately one crash every 702,000 miles. Wowzers! Yeah, that's a huge difference.
But that wasn't the one for me. It was the fatalities in the last year.
Oh yeah.
On how many drives?
I want to look at that too.
Because that's what I'm scared of. My fiance died in a car accident.
Oh
I'm just
really?
paranoid.
Oh my God! I'm so sorry to hear that. Ugh.
And I was driving. I missed a stop sign. It destroyed my life.
I'm so sorry to hear that. Ugh. Yeah, we don't have to go into that any further if you don't.
No, we won't.
Yeah. Horrible. My heart is with you.
That's why when I have like this thing with Elon that he's bringing something that's going to save so many lives.
Yeah. Yeah. In the United States, the fatality rate is approximately 1.26 deaths per 100 million vehicle miles traveled, VMT. Yeah. That means that average American driver encounters roughly one fatality every 79 million miles driven. Yeah. Tesla FSD.
I think it's 2 total, and they were years ago.
Tesla and Elon have suggested that FSD is substantially safer than human drivers, but they have not released enough data for independent researchers. That's interesting. Apparently, the Tesla FSD data when it comes to fatalities hasn't been released.
It has, in the fact that if it gets in an accident, they're sued. Like, that's why I went to fatalities, because I know if FSD gets in an accident, someone dies, it's all over the news. And it's happened twice, and it was literally on every news broadcast.
It's not, yeah, but what if it was settled? What if it was settled, like, out of court, like, quietly?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that this has happened. I'm just, like, looking at a different way that can happen. Waymo provides the strongest fatality evidence among autonomous systems. Waymo reports no.
But when they say they don't report it, they do.
Yeah,
because they report every accident.
Okay, yeah,
it's mandated.
Yeah, I'm
so
just
not
wondering
fatal
why
accidents,
system...
but every accident is reported, and you can pull the reports up and look at them all.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I just my system's telling me that the.
Yeah, one or two gets missed every now and then. Yeah.
Waymo, so though approximately 170.7 million driverless miles through December 2025. Waymo reports there
170.
has been no at-fault fatal crashes in the history of Waymo.
Yeah.
None.
Yeah.
Zero. Dude,
That's on 170 million. Tesla's 11 billion.
I mean, as a moral as a moral well-beingist, when I see things like this, I don't want to be crude, but it gets me it gets me ethically hard hearing this kind of stuff. Like, it's fucking.
I'm with you on that. I'm with you
fucking
on that.
amazing. It's fucking amazing. I love this. Yeah. Average. So yeah, I mean, zero at-fault fatalities observed after 170.7 million miles of Waymo.
There should have only been 2 statistically out of 170 million at 80 million apiece. Tesla's 11 billion,
Well-
so there should have been like 80 or 90.
Well, Waymo is saying 0 recorded in history. The data.
Yeah,
I'm
I
seeing
get
here.
that, but it's only
Oh.
170 million, so there should have been 2 statistically. Right? At 170 million?
I'm just
You said about 80.
going to ask my system, has Waymo ever had a fatality reported?
Is this the
Probably not.
latest? Is this the latest self-driving software? Is that what you're talking about?
Well, Waymo.
Yeah, so-
I'm looking at Waymo now, which is the reason why I'm looking at this, because Don and I, when we were touring on the West Coast with Destiny, we were taking Waymos around in Phoenix. Yeah,
Is-
so
the
so,
first
it's- so
time
it
was-
is saying here, Crestwood indicate that there have been 2 fatalities associated with collisions involving Waymo, but Waymo vehicles were not found
Wasn't
to
at
be
fault.
at fault, right?
Yeah. And I think that's the same with Tesla. There's been 2 fatal collisions, and they were on older software. I'm not saying the older software was anywhere near what today's is.
Right.
It's night and
But
day.
but even if we're talking about 2, even if we're talking about 100 fatalities by Tesla, comparing that to
oh yeah, to the human.
like human driving, is God, have I lost a lot of
Right.
friends, that just human error, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Could you just confirm for me that we
Yeah.
are talking about the latest software? Are you? That's
We
what you
are
called it, Waymo.
yeah the latest
And how long has that been out?
Waymo is done. I mean, the one we rode in was in a Jaguar, so
Yeah.
I think all the Waymos are Jaguars. So
They recently switched to drag.
You mean
Yeah.
Jaguar, presumably.
Jaguar.
I'm being facetious. Don't worry.
Jaguar. Yeah.
But what an experience! Was it not the coolest thing ever going into a driverless car for the first time?
I absolutely loved it.
It was like that's how it was for me too. It's
It
like
felt like stepping into
the future.
a Star Trek movie. Yeah, into the future. It was really cool. It really did feel like that. It had Don's name on the top little digital screen when it pulled up. It came right up to us, opened the door. When we're in, it tells us to press the start button whenever we're ready in the back seats, and it just fucking took us to the zoo.
So
It
next
took us to
time-
the venue. Yeah, it was.
Next time you go to Texas, download the RoboTaxi app and take a Tesla. It's
Yeah.
a third the price
Yeah.
just to try it.
Yeah, no, I would for sure. I loved it. Felt like being in Disneyland. It was fucking cool. Yeah.
In Texas, you said?
Texas, yeah.
I'll show you some places in Texas that are not like Disneyland.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
Cool.
impressive. It's impressive. I mean, for sure, the technology. I think it's I think it's a lot to do with the computing power, which can be leveraged.
Well, it completely has a lot to do with computing power.
and which can be leveraged, and then also the amount of time spent on the software is key. That's that's absolutely.
But again, this comes back to why is it him?
I think those why, because that's what they've concentrated on. I mean, that's literally it. The Japanese
Apple
have been-
did too.
Well,
Japanese-
Apple put
try to let
20
Simos
billion.
try to let
That's right.
Simos finish, Curtis. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, the Japanese have been working on it for since the 90s, as well as the Germans, And I don't think it's for want of trying. It's for want of lack of investment due to the company owners saying, this is not going to fly anywhere because in Europe the restrictions are so much, so much higher, right? For a start, how can you're going to get there's the autobahns, right? So
Well,
get
Elon
cars
also said
driving around at 150 miles an hour plus, right? And that's not going to be easy to legislate around. So I think legislation in Europe is definitely one of the reasons why the companies have not aggressively pursued it. And I think in America that's different. The size of the American market is pretty much equal to that of Europe. So that's another reason why individual companies are not that interested in doing it. The same thing with all electric vehicles. Right, there's just not each country has to have its own setup for recharging, etc. The infrastructure, and that's very, very expensive. Rather than being able to say, right, okay, look, I can get federal, standards applied here, and then just roll it out across each of the states as we come to try to expand it. That's cheaper. So there are just many advantages. The lower speed limits, etc., is definitely one of them. Then also on top of that, I don't think people in Europe particularly like not using gas, right? Because our cars have traditionally been a lot more frugal on the amount of gas they use. So people still want to take their 60 mile an hour, gas, 60 miles per gallon gas guzzlers. Right?
But I think Europe's adoption is higher. Like Denmark's over 50% Tesla, 97% electric.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, absolutely. I think, but again, I'm just saying to you, like these companies, the European car companies are not interested in making all electric vehicles because they don't see the same market that Tesla has. Now Tesla can come in and sell their electric cars, and that's to some degree funded by the fact that they've had all the development in the US, which has all of these extra advantages. And I'm not saying that isn't a real thing, and I'm glad for it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to diss Tesla on the fact that it makes all electric cars here, right? I'm saying that they have a slightly different thing. I mean, I don't know whether they have self-driving cars in Denmark yet, and maybe they do.
Five European countries.
Maybe you can just download the software and start using it, and that's fine. But like I'm saying, I do think that the attitude of European manufacturers and Far Eastern or Japanese manufacturers is very different. They don't want to go for all electric cars. And,
I do have to.
Maybe that will change once they get seriously threatened by Tesla sales in Europe.
Right.
Let's hope so.
Well, I do have to shut the stream down, but I got to say, like, obviously, Simos, Scott, everyone, thank you so much for being here. Curtis, you haven't been here in a while, and I really appreciate you coming today and giving your thoughts. It added a lot to the conversation. So
I always enjoy it.
Thank you very much. Well,
thank you, Curtis.
Thank you.
I appreciate
nice meeting you guys.
Stuff.
Yeah.
I appreciate learning some stuff about the Teslas that
me too.
didn't know before.
Yeah, and Curtis, please come back. We're live almost every day now that I'm set up here. So
you're in Mexico now?
Yeah, I live in Oaxaca, Mexico now. Yeah,
amazing.
I love it.
That's
I absolutely
that's
love
a big
it,
change because
big
change from Vancouver.
Yeah, Vancouver to Oaxaca, it's a big change. But I mean, based on my regular day to day that I'm accustomed to, I don't feel that much change. I mean, the biggest change is now having a son, and I'll also have a daughter arriving in early July.
Oh my God, the millionaire family!
Yeah,
well done.
exactly.
Nice.
Yep.
Oh, can I just mention one last thing as well?
Yes.
Ferrari now have an all-electric car.
Yes, they do.
Oh shit!
A lot
really?
of these companies do. They're doing like Porsche
They
put them
do.
out. Bugatti has one.
Well,
I do as well. Yeah, and Lamborghini's working on one now.
Yeah.
I
think
I
they
really
see it
like
coming.
hearing
They
that.
see the change coming, and they're preparing for it. But obviously, this is at the top end,
Yeah.
This is an expensive car, and like I guess that's the same thing with the Teslas are quite expensive compared to the price
They're not.
of a Toyota.
I just
or
bought my daughter one for 38,000.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah, Model 3 in Canada. It's the cheapest place to buy a Model 3. Because my teacher's there's 1,000 off if you're a teacher, so it's
Oh yeah,
39.
and don't
Retail
you
price
get
in
and don't you
America.
get like a pretty good rebate in Canada for buying an electric vehicle still?
This is the kicker, is that this car is 39 and doesn't meet for the rebate requirements because it
Okay,
comes from
gotcha.
China.
Gotcha.
And the exact same car in China is equal to 45. So it's cheaper in Canada for a Chinese car than you can buy it in China.
That's
Makes no
wild,
sense.
dude. Yeah, you know what?
I think
You want to talk about car prices. That is something I learned very quickly when we relocated here down to Mexico. Vehicles here are,
Yeah.
I would say, 70% more expensive than in Canada.
Are they?
Check
I would have thought the
check
opposite.
it. Yeah, check it out. Check it out. It's mind blowing. People spend more money on their vehicles than their fucking homes down here.
Oh my
It's
God.
crazy. Look at the market. Look at the comparisons. It blew my mind. Like,
That
yeah.
is so counterintuitive.
it is completely counterintuitive. I was like, sweet. I sold my Dodge Charger up in Vancouver, and I was like, yeah, I wonder what I'm going to be able to get down here. Where I won't have to dig too deeply into my pockets. And I was just like, because I was looking for a 7-seater. For all the family we have down here,
Minivan, something like that, yeah.
People that visit. So I ended up getting a brand new Captiva, which is like I believe it's exclusive to Latin America. It's a Chevy Captiva. It's by Chevy, but like you can't buy a Captiva in Canada.
Yeah.
But so far so good.
I just would have never guessed the price thing because that doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
I just have one further question for you, if I may, Curtis. So GM, right? You're saying that their value of their company, just by car sales, GM sell more cars than
Tesla, yes.
Are not Tesla, right? Presumably.
Yeah, they sell more than Tesla.
Yeah, and they outsell the Teslas, presumably.
I would, yeah.
Yeah, so they're a massive car company. It's just that the value of Tesla in relation, you're saying, is like, Tesla is 10
the
times
value.
higher than...
Yeah, the value.
No, GM is probably 4% of Tesla.
When it comes to evaluation.
In terms of value.
Yeah.
In terms of market value, what the market values it at. So
You mean in cost of each share, or do you mean...
No. So the market value is determined by the cost of the share. So there'll be X number of shares outstanding. So there could be 100 shares outstanding. Each share is worth $100. So every share represents 1% of the company. Multiply the two. That's the market value of the company to buy the whole.
Yeah, GM is currently sitting at a market cap of $68 billion, compared to 1.6 trillion market cap for Tesla.
4%.
He's an incredible entrepreneur, that Elon Musk. I'll give him that. All right. It's just that they've just come into Formula One recently.
I did not expect. Where the fuck is Ford sitting? Oh my God, Ford's only at 30.
This is what people don't realize. It's the value of Tesla.
60 billion, they've probably spent 2 billion just getting into Formula One.
I was an early investor
in amount compared to what their value of their company is.
I was an early investor in Tesla, and it retired me at 40.
Oh, you did? Wow. You made a pretty substantial investment
early on, because I saw this guy. I watched his interviews, and he said the same thing for 20 years about humanity and Mars. You can go back 25 years, and the interviews are the exact same.
Yeah.
He's just so consistent.
Did you? I assume you're maintaining some of your Tesla stock.
And today I'm a SpaceX holder.
Right. Did you get in early on SpaceX?
I got the IPO price, so I got 135. Yeah.
So
it's not early because I didn't have access. It was private.
Exactly. It was private. Yeah. I guess as soon as it became available, right?
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Well, even when it became available, it came on the market at like 160, so it came oversubscribed.
Yeah.
I was fortunate.
Do you
with
feel
my
like
brokerage?
Yeah. Do you feel like you bought enough stock, or are you having any kind of buyer's remorse, or?
Well, I put a request in,
Okay.
and I got 10% of what I requested.
Gotcha.
Because it was this
It
is
was
the funny
sold
thing
too
about it. It was
fast.
so oversubscribed that
Yeah.
so many people wanted in at the IPO price.
Yeah.
There you go. That's the brilliance of it, though. That's the brilliance.
If you believe in the technology, like you're not buying the revenue or the profit right now, you're buying a technology that doesn't exist, and the capability of that technology
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the future.
The future value.
Yeah.
The future.
It's a
value.
risk. There's
Yeah.
obvious
That's what
risk
investment's
there.
about.
Yeah.
That's what
There's this
investment's about.
risk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it wouldn't be investment if there wasn't a risk. So.
And there's a vision too. Like,
Yeah.
do you believe that you want to be multiplanetary? There's something about that. Like, just I want to support that.
Do you with that SpaceX money, just like what kind of realistic return schedule are you looking at? Is this money that you are just gonna let it?
I will never.
ride?
It will be inherited by my kids.
Gotcha.
SpaceX is such, the Tesla one changed my life so much because you invest in a company, you don't expect it to go up 10,000%.
Yeah.
Like it's just unheard of.
Yeah. 10,000x is not a bad payday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
And it seems to be every
especially
AI
when,
like
especially when
NVIDIA.
Tesla especially with what Tesla is doing for the environment. Like, I really do believe in, moving like not only environment, the automated vehicle, and from a moral well-beingist perspective, it is such a big deal. Like, saving lives, taking that dangerous task out of the hands of human beings. I love it. I really do love it.
The lives it saves, the most likely time to die is like between 18 and 25.
Yeah.
In a car accident. That's the highest likelyhood is you're going to die in a car accident.
Yeah.
Eliminate it.
Well, thank you, Curtis. Thank you, Simos, as always.
You're welcome.
Thanks, everyone. We're going to shut her down. Yeah, I thought it was important to do this episode today. I had something else on the docket. Tom T-Jump will be joining us next week, Thursday evening. So he'll be coming in. Him and I will be doing a little bit of debating, and then we'll be opening up the conversation to everyone else who wants to get involved. There'll be YouTubers joining us on frequent occasion now on this show at some points throughout the day, but we'll always announce with a little poster image and stuff so people have some time to prepare. And
does Destiny ever come in?
Destiny's going to be coming in. He's just he's all of his time is dedicated right now to some specific things he's doing on his stream, but in a couple weeks he's going to pop by and we'll do a good 4-hour debate night with Destiny. So yeah, and Lawrence Krauss is going to come by soon.
Oh God, I love that guy.
Who else did I hear back from? I heard back from a bunch of people. So yeah, there'll be a bunch of YouTubers coming in, atheists, theists, scientists, philosophers, all kinds of people. So it'll be fun. All right.
Awesome.
Thanks, everyone. And make sure you're out there maximizing well-being for yourself and those around you. Come into the Pangburn Discord. We have an awesome community here. Come hang out, make friends. Everybody needs a community in order to achieve high levels of social health. So if you don't have that, or if you want